light tank pulls ahead. It seems it's the fastest here. Or was. The Panther is now in the lead, and it leaps forward, right into the abyss. The new leader activates their shield, and I hope their insurance covers that. Next, are you new here? Welcome to Neon Dash. This is a very simple, friendly racing contest. You'll easily reach the finish line and will never be flipped over, rammed, destroyed, annihilated, or disintegrated. Not once. Don't believe it? Then check for yourself during 2 April weekends. The races will last only 6 days, so set a reminder. Enter the game on weekends and gather a platoon of friends to push and shove in your fight for first place. In the races, you won't spend credits for shells, repairs, or any other nonsense, so play however you like in any vehicle. Race, complete special missions, and get rewards. Persistent racers won't go away empty-handed. But it's not about the result, it's about the process. Each race features up to 30 vehicles. The format is everyone for themselves. Vehicles of any tier are allowed except for standard tier limitations for platoons. All vehicles are much faster than usual, but don't rush to hop into your fastest tank. You need to reach the finish line first, but don't drive like your dinner is getting cold there. There are obstacles around every turn, and instead of the fastest, the coolest and most careful will be the ones to pass them. As long as no one stops them, and you can and want to stop them. Shots don't cause damage, but transfer momentum to the target. In short, they push. Is your opponent navigating a hard obstacle? Force them to go faster. If they fall into the abyss, they will respawn at a checkpoint in 3 seconds. And that's an eternity in a race. If you're getting shot at, enable your shield. It will grant you several seconds of invulnerability. The next ability is Dash. It has so many uses. Ram an opponent, accelerate on a straight stretch, overcome an obstacle. Use it how you like, just don't jump into the abyss. Or do. Who are we to stop you? If the track has beaten you rather than you it, you can go back to the checkpoint by pressing J. This is handy when you don't want to waste even more time. You can't be first all the time, so don't sweat it if you come 5th or 10th. The main thing is just to finish the race. It's up to you whether you take it easy or pull out all the stops for the podium. Play how you like. There'll be 2 launches on April 18th and 25th. Here's the starting line, and the finishing one lies somewhere ahead. Sounds simple until you try it. Fuel up your tank, turn on your interior neon lights, and start your engines. What's up, tankers? Let's get our teeth into the best scouts and raiders on tracks, or wheels. That's right, light tanks. To get the most from these nippy little vehicles, you'll need to practice and to brush up on view range and concealment. Not long ago, we did some videos about those, so check them out if you need to. The links are in the description. Lights are often quick and tricky to spot, and they can have high-caliber howitzers or even autocannons. Low-tier lights don't have rolls, and calling them scouts would be a stretch. They're versatile, and their characteristics can vary a lot, and so can their armor. You can fight in them like a medium or sometimes even a heavy tank. From about Tier 5 or 6 upward, that's no longer the case. At that point, you start getting some real niche specialists. They're raiders and scouts that spot for teammates. Lights also gain a shared trait. They can move without it affecting their concealment. Whether standing or moving, you still won't get spotted before the same distance. This vehicle class only has two roles: tracked versatile light tanks and wheeled ones. First, let's deal with the Old Faithful, and then later we'll get to the wheeled lights and how they differ from their tracked classmates. Light tank gameplay depends less on the role and more on your own play style. Think of it in terms of passive and active. Passive players settle in and capitalize on their concealment. Active ones monopolize the map with their movement. Any light tank can play both ways. You can set yours for either passive, active, or somewhere in between. So how do you prepare a scout for battle? First, a lick of paint. Any camo on a vehicle's hull boosts its permanent concealment bonus, which is vital for a light tank. The more, the better. Train crew perks that improve view range and concealment. Keep your radio operator on your radar. They have a few good perks that are very handy for light tanks. More perks than slots, in fact, so choose wisely. As for consumables, food ones will pad you out in all the right areas: view range, concealment, and firepower. Equipment can improve your scouting ability, making you harder to spot or boost your firepower. Mix and match to suit your playstyle. A good scout will want coated optics and commander's vision system mounted. For passive spotting or for mid-tier lights, consider binocular telescope. If you want a ninja on tracks, then mount low-noise exhaust system. If you also want to focus on shooting, consider something like a rammer or stabilizer. Improved ventilation gives you a little all-round boost. In place of turbocharger, you can equip the mobility improvement system respectively to bolster your ride that bit more. Make sure you research field modifications to build up two loadouts for different maps. For example, the first would have coated optics, commander's vision system, and low-noise exhaust. And the second would have ventilation, stabilizer, and gun rammer. That way you'll feel right at home, whether you're playing on Prokhorovka or Himmelsdorf. Phew! We've finally set up our dream light tank and are eager to head into battle. But what should you do in battle? How can you contribute? First, look at how many other lights are in your team and where they're headed. Scouts should spread out across different positions and even flanks. In the first minutes of battle, do some initial spotting for your team. Your teammates will really appreciate knowing how many opponents are on whichever flank. To spot enemy vehicles, you need to quickly get to a place that lets you see their approach route. To do that, you need to know the maps and remember the routes tanks take. It's safest to spot from bushes, but I came, I saw, I fled tactics can work too. That way, you'll likely get spotted. Just the time to remember how to rally drive. Then you can find a bush and spot from there. It's safer. If necessary, move from bush to bush, approaching or fleeing if there's danger. A moving light tank's non-reducing concealment comes in really handy for those short bursts. When you approach bushes, don't forget the proximity spotting circle. If you want to scout, you need to know about this. So how do we know where's the best to spot from? Look at where your teams and the enemy's light tanks are located, and remember the positions. For example, on steps, it's usually best to take a central position. On Lakeville, you should be on the central line or near the town. On mines, the bushes, both on the hill and in the water, are best. On Prokhorovka, you want the line of bushes on the alley or the hill if your team has enough lights on the alley. On Outpost, head for the bushes in the middle of the lake. Those are just a few of the well-known bushes, but all these maps offer light tanks plenty of ways to play. Commit good positions to memory and get experimenting. Don't forget, a felled tree is as good as a bush. And you can fell them yourself with HE shells. Remember that the thorn in a light tank's side is another light tank. You can throw a spanner in the enemy's scouting works by spotting them and destroying them, and you can stop them doing the same to you. Remember where you've seen enemy light tanks and think about how to beat them. Pure scouting is only an option on open maps. In urban locations without bushes, you'll have to come to the aid of mediums, dodge the enemy, and cause damage. Lights with autoloaders or autocannons are great at this. You can't go wrong with big damage in a short time. Although lights are very vulnerable, they can trade hits too, but carefully and with immaculate timing. If you're hiding in the bushes spotting, think before letting that gun rip. Firing drops your concealment to scary lows. Make sure you have a strong exit strategy. As promised, let's end with wheeled lights and how they differ from versatile tracked ones. Vehicles in the EBR branch have a poor view range that stops them from scouting passively at a distance. But they do have good concealment, high speed, and wheels galore. Even if one or several of them are damaged, you'll still be able to get about. That's why wheeled lights are active Scout Supremos. They draw fire and dance under a storm of shells, lighting the enemy up in the process. At the higher tiers, wheeled lights have two movement modes: rapid, with excellent top speed, and cruise. In cruise mode, the tank uses all its wheels to whirl like a dervish. These wheeled tanks pack penetrative HE shells that tear paper-thin enemies to shreds. Basically, wheeled tanks are very active, aggressive raiders. You'll need a very particular set of skills and practice to play in them, though. If you're less experienced, learn standard lights first. And that's it. Share this video with a friend who can't last a minute in battle. See you on the battlefield.
This is the world's most advanced processor. In entertainment, its rendering speeds render other processors obsolete. Powers cloud services for billions. Helps change the course of climate change. And uses AI to accelerate disease detection and cures. We make the world's most advanced processors, but only with your vision can we advance the world. AMD. Together, we advance.
Hello there, and welcome to yet another playday in the phase 1 of the AMD OLS season number 3. And Ducky, Tuesday was a very, very long, albeit also interesting day. What do you think today will deliver?
Probably not 20 rounds, Kihan. Let's start with that. I don't think it's going to be delivering 20 rounds, but a lot of matches again at stake here for phase 1. It's important, of course, to keep in mind that we don't have that much left in phase 1, Kihan. We're already done a lot of matches, to be honest, and we can already see that the results of this. But so we're streaming Thursday, then we're streaming Sunday, then we're streaming Tuesday. Then we have a little bit of a break because Kihan wants to go on vacation,
of course,
as per usual, and then we're rolling it back from the 13th of May.
Exactly, and this stream here today also marks the midway point of the phase number 1, but so far, compared to the other OLS seasons, no one has really managed to completely edge out ahead. That being said, today it's going to be 5 OLS tokens, which you can obviously spend in-game in the OLS token store. That does have a lot of goodies available as well. I would say pretty much something for every account. You can even have a premium tank. I think that is the Tiger 6. Some 2D styles, 3D styles, Days of World of Tanks premium. You can have consumables or expirable reserves. Yeah, I think there should be something for everyone in there. Now, however, let's get in towards more the thick of it a little bit. The current state of the OLS. And that is the fact, actually, that I alluded to already. No real team has managed to completely edge out ahead. Darkside, I think, very much of a positive surprise on 7 points. Then we have 2 on 6. That's W and Mafia, as well as Hit also. And then we have Cashback on 5, which kind of is pretty crazy. And then Ping, Lotus, and Yogurt trailing a little bit. But it does look different than it did in Season 1 and Season 2.
Not for Darkside. They were actually position 1 in Season 1 after 3 play days as well, with 9 points, and then I think they won 1 match after that. So, you know, there is still lots that could happen, Kihan. They, I think, brought it up themselves as well. They're like, yeah, we've been here before, so we are not too confident yet in our ability to do much more than this. It has to be proven, and they'll have to prove themselves against W, which is aiming for this season to win the biggest share of this 46,000 euro prize pool so far, which you can of course still boost with the bundles on the World of Tanks page, predicting the right team. And we are going to close the predictions when, Keyhand, roughly?
I think after the end of phase 1 we are going to close them. So basically people will have a better chance at predicting who is going to win as the season goes on. But obviously at some point we are going to close it. And here you can also see the OLF prize pool for what's happening across the pond in North America. The qualifiers for the OLF are currently running. And I mean, that's also a lot of cash that's on the line there. And yeah, obviously for the OLS, the season winners are also gonna get the bonus prize. For every player in the winning team, it's going to be an AMD Ryzen 7 9800 X3D. Thanks very much to AMD. Together we indeed advance gaming. And yeah, that chip, I think, currently the best gaming chip on the market. Now here you can see those bundles. You can have the base bundle where there's only the style. You can have the advanced bundle where there's the style and some inscriptions, emblems, stuff like this. And then you have the team bundles as well, where you have all the aforementioned goodies plus a nice looking badge. And if you predict correctly, if you buy the correct bundle, then, of course, all of it is going to upgrade to a shiny golden version. And if you really want to be sure to get it, you can obviously pony up and buy all the bundles. Now, today, though, we are going to start off with Lotus versus W. W so far did perform, I think, okay-ish. Lotus, however, underperforming a little bit in 7th place right now, at least if you ask them.
Sure, but they won their first match, Kihan, and maybe they can get the ball rolling off of that one, while we saw W go through a pretty painful loss, though, if for real, Kihan, for them, showing that the consistency is not entirely there just yet. And, you know, like we talked about before, this Lotus team has a lot of experienced players.
It has a lot of experienced players, but so far they have not really been able to bring this experience together and work together as a team to achieve what they want, which is at least going to phase number 2, if not the playoffs, and obviously the playoffs as well, firmly in the sights of W that are currently on 6 points. But you mentioned it already, stability kind of the issue we saw in the match against Darkside, where Frugo, more like Frugoat, with that HE penetration into the back of the T-57 heavy tank, managed to secure them a point, but only a single one here. Still though, community predictions 87% in favor of the winners of the past season.
That I still think is relatively fair, to be honest, Kihan, respecting what they achieved last season. Every team normally should drop around at some point where, or a match even at some point where you're like, they shouldn't do this, but it did end up happening. That's pretty normal, especially in a lower best of. Jakefa here, highlight player, plays mainly those snipers and a bat chat.
Exactly, so mostly damage dealer tanks here. He does have 3.2k DPG to his name in the OLS only. A KD of 2.4, obviously. If you're more in towards the back lines or the red line, Jakefa is going to be very familiar with that one. Then you're not going to die as often as other players, which is also going to influence that KD ratio. If your team wins, of course. If you lose, then more often than not, there's going to be 7 kills on, or sorry, 7 deaths on the defeated team.
Yeah, Kihan knows how to do math. Every season he seems to progress a little bit. It's amazing. Progressing is what this match will do as well with the map pick and ban. Himmel's being removed by Lotus, W removing Studzianki. I feel like that's a trend for them, Kihan, but I would have to double check to confirm. Gives us Cliff as very first map. Lots of high, potent, quick decisions on that one. But Morovanka, Kihan, that comes after, could deliver more of the same.
It could deliver more of the same. We've seen teams play very, very aggressively on Morovanka, but it also has the option of playing slowly there if no team decides to immediately commit. And then if we are going to go the distance yet again, then Pilsen would be our map of choice for the tiebreaker. But yeah, first of all, starting off on Cliff, it's going to be fast and furious, probably.
For sure. I mean, especially because Cliff, you cannot sit back in the beginning, which you can do in Moro. You have to make a play, Kihan, no matter what, one way or another. If you sit in the base, like certain map guide creators would recommend you, don't listen to them, then yeah, you may one-shot somebody in the middle if you're playing your AV, but that doesn't mean that your team's going to win it for that.
Yeah, indeed. We have seen sort of pocket plays with the stage 2 being played from north most of the time on Cliff. We even saw stuff like double 50Bs firing up. We saw Grillas even being used for that. But at the end of the day, what are you doing if you don't blow up the tank that is trying to take the lighthouse position? Then you're essentially putting yourself in a disadvantageous position because one of your tanks or 2 are going to be out of the fight, are not going to be able to contribute. And in Onslaught, especially if that's the case, then the opposing team, if they recognize this, if they understand what's happening, they can snowball completely out of control.
Yeah, I mean, this is just one of those maps where you cannot do that, like stay back too much, because most teams will just smell it out that this is happening. And round number 1, still a few changes happening, but Lotus coming in, 4 BZs, a CS63 Kihan, an AX, and an RHM Panzer Wagon.
Yeah, indeed. And for W, we do have a double E50M, double Batcha, double 277, and the aforementioned 50B. Let's see how this one is gonna go. We did have a slight little issue with the graphic, but I think we are going to progress rather soon with the match as well. I mean, in between Lotus and W, we have our predictions already. I think caster predictions, all of us going with the 3-1 for W. So there is a definite favorite as we do go in towards the first game. The players obviously completely unfazed by all of this. We see Lotus going with 7 tanks towards the middle. Meanwhile, W playing a split.
They're taking 1-2 line, they're crossing over from the top and looking as countering towards the hill. They might get some shots here against Baby and Klurf. They get a little bit of damage. 1 shot on Baby, 1 shot on Klurf. We're now going to be holding for them to try and take the hill. Mental's taking the info point. Rest of the tanks now arriving. They're trying to take the hill probably with the BZs themselves and play off of that point. It's an opening that can work for them for sure, but they might take a lot of damage for this still.
I mean, info tower now getting used here, so Lotus obviously knows, W obviously know what's up. And what is also up are 2 BZs by the team of W. Both of them have boosted in towards the position. That is a lot of control actually for the team in white as the strike goes down and it does connect on towards 2 tanks. Still though, Lotus kind of stuck in the middle.
What do they do from here is the big question, because W's strategy is becoming pretty obvious right now, right? Control the hill, play off of that, and try and do something with it. And they were even baiting and hoping somebody from Lotus would go on that hill, and Sir Jacob did exactly that, and he's down towards the one-shot Kihan, and he even falls to Itox. Singular BZ retaking the hill, that is not something you break W with.
And even if he does make it up, like he would be fighting against double BZ. Now, however, Stone and also Chucky have made it on towards the hill here, as we see Ios with a little bit of group heal going on. Mentos trying to deliver from the donut with that E50M. Doesn't have the ability active right now, but now Ios and Itox, both of them see what's up here. Lotus, they have committed forces on towards the hill, and the guns might not be in their favor, but the HP are still sort of even. Just as I say that, Chucky takes a lot of damage, needs to be careful against this double BZ, takes another one, also taking shots from the bottom. This is why Stone is now going to start coming in. Strike coming down, and Baby with the second kill of the game.
Yeah, that bad shot there from A4 finds shots on the back of Chucky. Now Ios blocking for Itox at top of the hill. Dominance is in W's favor, and yeah, that comes down to, you know, Jacob there in the beginning going kind of by himself, dying for it, and 2 more go up. They will make it, but by the time this actually happened, a good push there even from Itox. Oh, they're both gonna go down. He will dominate Stone, who's won. He's literally won, but if you look at the rest of the game, I mean, there's Milo and Rishek left standing. And just for W, it's a clear-cut strategy, and Lotus did not have the reactions ready.
Absolutely not. It felt like W were a step ahead every part of the way in this first game here. Yes, Ios did bounce the shot before this one, but now it's gonna come in, and gonna come in is exactly what Klurf will do as well with the fully loaded Batchat. Is probably gonna deliver 2,000 damage in towards that BZ. Milo trying to drop Itox, still clinging to the side of the hill. Ios indeed coming over the top, and they are going to finish off this first round with 6 players alive still. W with a demonstration of dominance.
Good strategy there for W. A lot of, like, it's pretty easy to understand once you see it unfold. You take 1-2, and then you have the BZ stick in the hill while you counter the cross-up yourself, and then you try and play from the hill. You get 1-2 as well, and all of that was just in time, because Chucky and the other BZ could win the hill, because once you have the flanking rotation from Rishek all the way around, when he goes to like K-line, he will start getting shots on the back of them, but by that time, Baby was already in their base, killing Chucky from behind.
Yeah, absolutely. The rotations that W made this round were just a step ahead of what Lotus was trying to do. Here we can see the damage numbers, and 2 tanks that you normally don't really expect to be that much on top. The double BZ, I guess those were the 2 on the hill that just continuously were able to fire, and we see Chucky with the Inspire Medium not really able to get his tank in towards the game. And the same can be said for a lot of tanks on the Lotus lineup here. Only really Milo and Rishek punching above their weight a little bit when it comes to the HP, but not enough to carry them. The damage spread on the W team just much better.
Yeah, W was just in that one ahead from the beginning, and there's no real recovery from Lotus anymore. They tried to, but I think they needed to be even quicker about taking the hill, because, I mean, those batches can only clip 1 person. They did that to Sir Jacob, but then he arrived by himself, and the moment he does, he just dies. So there's no reason they couldn't have sent multiple people up at the same time and try and do what they did, but much faster, and potentially achieve also success with it, right? If they were able to get 3 up, push the BZs down, CS from behind, but they have to be, in my opinion, a lot quicker to beat a team like W with those rotations.
Well, they picked the map, so certainly they have a plan, at least hopefully for them, for the other side. Lotus, that is, as we see the captain's rating coming in. W, I think that is a little low, considering W did win Season 2 here, 3.5. But Lotus, a lot of captains basically predicting, yeah, they're going to make it to Phase 2, but that's going to be the end of the road for them.
I mean, so everything's possible, Keyhand, if you think about it. But it's still a few matches to go for Phase 1 to end, and currently they're not looking to make it out yet. They really need to score points, though.
Will W give those to Lotus, though, is the question. As it stands right now, it's not looking likely. This first round by W, they probably didn't even break a sweat. That was, yeah, just well played overall by the team of W. And for Lotus, already we might see some kind of an adjustment, because clearly their match plan sending 7 people towards the middle, it was a little bit one-dimensional and ended up not working out. And adjustments apparently is what we are going to see from Lotus. Taking a look at the lineup, a 60TP, double BZ75, a T57, a Batchat, a Grille, and a T100.
W in return, though, 50B, triple BZ, a BAD, a CS, and an IHM as well. Will the Grille work out against the light tank he had? That is always a good question.
Yeah, obviously the Grille does start the battle with some charges on its ability, so it's able to basically make its first shot pinpoint accurate and boost its alpha as well, and especially against the RHM, which is the taller of the 2 light tanks that we see right now. That might work beautifully. Talking about beautiful, those are 2 extremely good planes, both light tank players hitting all 7.
And especially for W, that's huge. Planning out the Grille, right? They know now that there is a Grille, so they will adjust probably according to that. Lukin and Rishek are going to go towards the hill. Klurf might even have the HE ready. He does 434. Good shot there from Klurf. Finds good damage. Rishek down towards down 1.9 almost on 666 HP.
Yeah, the number of the beast, but that is not what Rishek was aiming for with that across. Certainly Mentos on the offside, though, is going to be taking an artillery strike. But, yeah, Lukin on the hill, sitting very comfortably with that LT, but realistically, how much will he be able to do? Because a lot of the tanks of W are very, very close at the hill, and this is where then the lighthouse position does fall short. Baby taking a shot of damage in his Batchat, was trying to take the artillery strike, and so Jacob has been found probably by a plane of Klurf that immediately has the 3rd charge available, is going to reuse the plane again. Does the Grille get spotted for this? Doesn't look like it's a safe for now, but safe is not what Chucky is, down to 850.
Yeah, and the rest of the W team in the meantime retaking the hill as well. They have 1-2 line. They're starting to pressure around with Baby and Klurf. They have the top of the hill as well. And for Lotus, Kihan, they may have gambled a little bit in the odds of, oh, W doesn't like playing Cliff with a light tank, so if we pick a Grille, it might be okay. But that seems like a bad gamble, as Lukin is minus 2k for this as well.
Yeah, all the 3 BZs getting a little punch in towards that tiny T100 LT. Lukin has to drop off a little now, barely clings on to the side of the hill, same as Rishek. That's 2 tanks essentially down and out of the fight. Jakifa, though, trying to go for a peek in that 50B, is going to pay 1400 for that. A strike going down on towards Alex. So even the 60TP is now going to be driving on top of the hill. But in the meanwhile, the flank comes in by W that are almost double the HP that Lotus have. And realistically, they won't even be able to overpush on the hill. Good shot by Alex, but it's not going to change anything.
They're trying to send anybody and everybody on this hill. Even Milo arriving in the Batchat, but what can he really do from this position? There's triple BZ on the top here. Ios, Itox, and Frugo just laying down the law. The way is shut. Those 3 players will guard it, and they will not be getting through. And Baby and Klurf with the little flanking maneuver around the hill, it doesn't really do much. They're shooting at them. They're getting shot back, but this game, Kihan, is all but over. W in round 2, outplaying Lotus yet again.
Indeed, the pick of Cliff is not going to go the way of the team that picked it. Lotus are going to get absolutely smashed as Ios smashes himself into the ground. But obviously that is just a bit of fun that he's having at the end, because for Lotus it is almost the end here on a Cliff, getting schooled by W. I don't think there is a different way to say it. And yeah, Cliff is going to secure himself the ram kill. W once again with a dominant performance. It's going to be 2-0. It's going to be match point.
And so far, it looks like W is a lot better than Lotus in this, like playing these strategies. Round 2, yeah, I honestly think that Lotus may have had the thought of, and they don't like playing light tank on Cliff. They probably won't play the light tank on Cliff. But with the Gorilla information being out, I think Cliff blamed the Gorilla. He got shot, then they took the hill at the same time. And it's just like, for Lotus, you're like, it's not enough to challenge a team like W.
No. So far, all the pieces of the puzzle really falling in place for W. I mean, you always have to be a bit lucky to like play with the LT at the exact time when the enemy is bringing a Gorilla, but you know, that's sometimes just what happens. And yeah, for Lotus, everything seems to be going wrong right now. The Gorilla is still on top damage, but it didn't really matter. Like, I think a lot of the damage that he was doing basically happened at the end of the round, when realistically the fate of the round had been decided already.
Yeah, like it's like non-useful damage, to be honest. Non-contributing damage even. I mean, maybe one shot on the 50B or Jakefa, but the game was already kind of in its final chapter at that point. If you're Lotus or W. Now Morovanka, okay, it's a potential map, but so far it's looking rough for Lotus.
Yeah, their own map pick of Cliff. I think they tried to surprise W. I mean, in the first game, if W sends like 2 or 3 towards the middle and they immediately overpush, they could make something happen. But I think their hesitation in round number 1 and the information that W gained in round number 2 just insurmountable for Lotus. And now they are already staring at those match points coming in by W, and on their own map pick of Morovanka. There's always a reason why, you know, teams pick their own maps, especially in this kind of short format, best of 5. You get to play one of the maps that you really pick. And normally, your goal should be at least going 1-for-1, at which point we would be looking at W winning and not even in overtime.
I mean, for our predictions, Kihan, we must hope. We must pray. Because I think Moff predicted 3-0. No? No, we all went 3-1. No.
I think everyone went 3-1, so it doesn't really matter.
Good. I've been keeping like the inside information on Moff's mental state after the prediction game, you know?
That's why I keep bringing it up.
Yeah. I'm telling you, he cares.
I mean, he's also the one that really waits until after the pick and ban is done, and then he really goes into the details.
Well, the nitty-gritty, the statistats. How many times have you looked at the maps that they're playing?
0.
Exactly.
I mean, mostly I do my predictions before the pick ban is even done, so I couldn't even know what they are playing. I just go like, Team A versus Team B. I think that team's going to win. They look good. All right, 3-1. All right, bam, done. Let's see if that's going to be the case, though, because currently W is looking poised to take this one cleanly if they keep dominating Lotus in this kind of fashion, because let's be real, so far Lotus not really with a good showing in this match here. They will try to remedy it all, and that looks like a very, very light setup coming in from Lotus. Triple Batchat, a Leopard 1, a Foch B, the only tank with really any armor to speak of, but still big weak spots, and then we have an EBR and an RHM.
W in return, Bat, AX, Leo, Foch B, 268, EBR, and RHM of their own. So neither of the teams here really is deciding to go for that Kapki hand. It's going to be some sort of a control against a control play.
Yeah, I mean, 268, I have to say I like it. The tank, we already saw it popping off on Ensk in one of the previous matches. I think that was Darkside. They even made a frag movie out of it. Pretty cool to look at. So that buff 268 might be an absolute menace coming in, but for it to pop off, first of all, it needs to hit those first shots, as the Force B of Lotus is going to go in towards the information tower. Chucky taking a shot of damage by Ios, and also Clerf peeking, the HE connecting, Chucky down to 1100 HP, Rishek as well getting spotted. The plane is going to catch Chucky. Wonderful plays by the light tanks of W.
Clerf got a little bit greedy there though, takes about 1,000 for that. That was a bit too much from Clerf, to be honest. Until then it was okay, but he got a little bit greedy, got punished, and now they're starting to pressure this forest. Ios were trying to run Rishek over, peeking. Rishek realizes that the whole W team was still there, ready and waiting in the trees. Now they're retaliating on towards Jakefa and the Leo himself as well, and it's a little bit all across the place. So Jacob popping the ability, trying to get out as Baby and Jakefa just back into those little pockets there on that map, and you can see now both teams bringing all the forces, bringing all the guns. Lucan taking an HE pen from Clerf from the back lines as well, and the 268 starting to come in together with the Leo from the Lotus side, but Rishek is the first one down. That initial peak, not it for him. Stone taking some more as well, and now Itox leading the charge with the rest of them in quick succession. Mental's coming in as well with that 268, and I think W smell this clean 3-0 in the water here as the 268 gets involved as well. You can see these Lotus boys being herded into a corner right now as Chucky falls, and the rest of the Lotus team will soon follow him to the grave as W, after a pretty disappointing defeat on Sunday, Keyhand here on their match against Lotus, set the record straight.
Absolute domination by W here. You could see after the initial peaks didn't go Lotus's way, W just smelling blood in the water, pressing exactly that W key, running all over Lotus. That was not pretty to look at if you're a Lotus fan, but hell, W looking really good.
Yeah, it was a good match for them. And here, I mean, Lotus made some errors, right? Rishek, the peak there was not it. I think he came to realize that there's a lot of things still in the forest. Like a lot.
Yeah. And it all goes off of that light tank play by, I think, Ios and Clerf at the start of the game, where they not only get the jump on towards Chucky in his EBR, but they also get so much information. They did see the bad chats transitioning over in towards the forest, and at that point, W was pulling all of their forces to match what essentially was going to be a forest assault. And here we see, I mean, 268, I think he even got the shutdown kill with like 950 damage at the end on a bad chat. That HE is absolutely nasty, especially against light setups like this.
Yeah, and across the board, good stuff there from W. Pretty well spread damage. On the Lotus side, yeah, we see the biggest issue there. I mean, Rishek, yeah, well, what can you say, Jan? What can you say?
Nothing. He went to the garage pretty quickly, and we all know, you know, dead people don't talk. For Lotus, though, I think things are shaping up to be kind of dramatic after this fourth playday in the season. Once again, a playday without any points for them. And the thing is, today, they didn't even look like they could compete against W. That was just, I mean, 3-0, and I would say the scoreline says exactly how the match went. Like, sometimes teams pick up rounds that they shouldn't have. Today, W deserved all three of those. So that's going to wrap up a pretty quick match number 1. We are going to be back soon with match number 2. Guys, take it away.
On April 24th, for the first time ever, 2 tanks will roll out of the assembly shop at once. They're 2 very different but equally strong and unique Tier 10s. Reliable, tested in thousands of battles, and loved by many experienced players. Yes, on April 24th, you'll have a rare second chance to get the Lion and the Object 780. The Object is the perfect heavy for aggressive attacking. It has mobility to match its small dimensions. The sturdy front holds off blows, even uppercuts. The key is setting the tank at the right angle. Thick sides protect you from tracking with damage. And the 130mm gun chomps 530 HP off enemies. The Object has all you need to fiercely spearhead attacks. The Lion is totally different. It's a fast tank without serious protection, but with an extremely menacing gun. Its unusual auto-reloader lets you fire 3 shells in a row, causing 420 HP of damage each. Then fight like a cyclic tank with good DPM. And you have a 4th shell left just in case. The Lion is difficult to master and exciting to play, and its damage is simply devastating. A heavy for forceful attacks and a mobile sniper with an unusual auto-reloader. Make your choice, or grab both tanks at once. This time, the vehicles come without numbered styles, so there's no rush to be first. You have time to think it over and choose your new favorite Tier 10, but bear in mind that the time is limited. Pick a tank, then allocate spendable resources. Here's where you decide what you want to purchase the tank for. If you still have resources left after buying the first one, you can move straight to the second one. That way, you'll get 2 rare Tier 10s in one day. From April 24th, in the World of Tanks Assembly Shop.
And you will be able to get your hands on those 2 vehicles if you don't have them already. The Lion and the 780 are going to be up for grabs in round about 19 minutes, taking into account the delay of the stream. Ducky, in between both of those, which one do you prefer?
780.
Really? I would have expected for you to say Lion.
Why?
The 780 kind of has the module. Like, it's great. It's a great tank, but when you get hit, it's not so great anymore as soon as you get set on fire. I really like the autoloader mechanic on the Lion, where you actually want to go into your clip, unlike, for example, Progetto 65. But yeah, we have another match up and coming. It's going to be Hit versus Yogurt. What are your thoughts?
Let's see how good Yogurt really is my thought here. Yeah, because they did some surprise key hand, right? By beating Cashback, right? But
I mean, Hit beat Cashback too. I think 3-2.
Exactly. Cashback ain't looking that good right now.
Yeah.
You know, they ain't looking all that hot. So how good is really Yogurt? We have to find out.
Well, first of all, we do see the team lineup of Hit coming in, looking confident. Monster and the boys. Most of them in their jerseys still from the WCI. So they are definitely the favorite team in this matchup, I would say, given that they are also a lot more established as a roster, as a name. And here we see the new boys on the block. Under the captain Rachmedik, we see Yogurt.
And they're a team, you know, they came up, they've done their diligence in the OCS, made it through.
I really have to say, man, Mindbreaker's hair looks very Einstein-esque, if you get what I mean.
Saying he's a genius that gets not the recognition he deserves for at least like 30 years.
Let's see if that genius is going to help against Hit, because the community predictions, I think that is the single most brutal prediction we have had so far. 97% for Hit, 3% for Yogurt. Considering both of them have beaten Cashback, that's maybe a bit harsh.
Yeah, but you know, it could be like Hit and Run is angry. You know, they're angry Kihan after their defeat against Mafia. And what do when you're angry? You work it out on somebody else, obviously, and Yogurt might just be the unwilling participant of this beating.
Yeah, I mean, Tuesday has been the day of the tiebreakers. If it goes the way of the first match today, we are looking at pretty quick rounds. First of all, Ketsai coming in here. KD not that high, but DPG 3.1k. Plays mostly Centurion, IS-4, and T-57, and I think, honestly, the IS-4 might be dragging him down a little, because if I remember correctly, he played that one on Studzianki, but there he ended up always staring into 1 or 2 or 3 barrels of fully loaded T-57, and yeah, the IS-4 is a great tank, but not in close quarters against loaded T-57s.
Yeah, so what can they really do, Kian?
That is going to be the question. First of all, map pick and ban. Ends getting removed by Hit. That is quite the curious choice. Maybe they want to save some strats on that map, because normally Hit and Run is a team that is very known for liking to pick Ensk. Then Westfield getting taken out by Yogurt. Ghost Town is going to be the starter for us. So quite the switch up from 2 very quick maps that we had in the previous match. I think Ghost Town plays a little slower, but we are going to go into Himmelsdorf, and that one has the potential to quickly spiral out of control as well. And if we are going to go to tiebreaker, then Pilsen would be the decider, albeit if the community predictions are to be believed, we are not going to make it past Himmelsdorf.
Yeah, no, if we believe the community predictions, we just close the match and move to the next one, you know? But the maps here, Ghost Town, yeah, Himmels, I like it. Ghost Town, there's a lot of potential for both teams. It is hard to immediately lose on Ghost Town Key, in my opinion, unless you don't know how to react to the cap. But, you know, that has been played so much, I feel like teams have a pretty good clue nowadays.
Yeah. I think these fast cap strategies that we saw employed in Season 1 and partly Season 2, they have kind of fallen out of fashion, because nowadays teams know how to react to that. I think really the thing that those fast cap strategies banked on was the teams just, the reacting team in that instance, not knowing what to do and then falling apart. But by now we have reached a level where that doesn't really happen anymore. Well, predictions coming in. You, me, and Phil are going with the 3-1. Once again, consolation point over towards Yogurt. Moff is saying, nah, guys, this one's going to be a quick affair.
Yeah, well, it is possible, and, you know, Moff has to gamble a little bit to get back in it. The rest of us respecting the fact that it wouldn't be too hard for Yogurt to be winning at least one run here, especially after what they did to Cash back.
Well, let's see how this one is going to go. The question on Ghost Town for me is how many light tank players does Yogurt realistically have?
At least 2.
Because I think Ghost Town is one of those maps where the amount of light tanks that are going to be potentially played, it influences a lot the strategies.
Humble and Fick were playing it, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Wasn't it like T100? They played T100 RHM last time on Ghost Town. I think it was against like Lotus.
Possibly. It does actually escape my memory. But we are going to get a refresher just about now, because I think we're about to head in towards a game number 1 of match number 2 of the day. And the curtains open for us to see no light tank on the side of Hit and Run. It's going to be 1-1B triple T57, double IS7, and an E100.
Yogurt in return, double Lido. Liquor and Fig are going to be playing it. EBR, IHM, double bat, T57, IS7, E100. They'll have a lot of problems dealing with this cap initially, Kihan.
Yeah, I think Hit and Run have brought a lot more firepower to the table, albeit, once again, I question the synergy in between the Inspire medium and the triple autoloader. I think the double IS7 and the E100 also don't really profit that much from the Inspire like other tanks would, mediums most of all. But let's see. They obviously did pick it for a reason. The 121B also coming with 350 heat pens, so wouldn't struggle against that E100 of Humble. As we see the initial openings, and Liquor with that EBR going very, very aggressive through the western part of the map is going to be immediately meeting an IS-7. Ketsai, though, taking a shot to the face by the T-57 of Depressed, now activating the ability, doing so far 2 shots of damage towards Ketsai, but is going to take a lot more because Monster, Pan's Fury, and T-Sec are ready. Depressed towards a 1-shot. Ketsai to pick it up. First blood to hit and run.
Yeah, and keep in mind, Yogurt has those double light tanks, so they're gonna struggle even more now because already on the east the strike has been taken. That has been taken fully. Even Ketsai going even further, pushing past anything and everything, just looking at what's happening. And this is fine at this point because they barely have 1 strike. They didn't even take it yet. Liquor is now taking it because he got reset from the east, and with 10 seconds left, I mean, he will just about take it in the nick of time by the look of things. But actually, will he? Will he even take it? I don't think so. I think Hit and Run have just taken it actually all together. Ramadek not making it either. And it's going to be Hit and Run, hitting hard in round number 1 as well. Now picking up some endgame damage, of course, because they can. They quickly cap it away. There, they couldn't get better than that. 1 minute and, what is it, 40 seconds for the first win. Quickest win of the match. They get to pick the side and tiebreaker as well. Dismantling Yogurt rather quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. We were talking about the fact that, well, fast cap strategies have fallen out of fashion a little bit. Oh boy, were we ever wrong. Caster Curse coming in.
It wasn't even fully fast cap though. It just...
No. I think Hit and Run was keeping their options on the table. And after the T-57 of Depressed died, then they were like, all right, the cap is wide open. It's ripe for the taking. Let's do it, boys. And for Yogurt, well, not so good.
Not so good is an understatement. They come into this, you know, they're fully hyped, like, guys, let's do this. We got this. We beat Cash back, and they're back in the garage 1 minute and 45 seconds later, like, guys, we still got this. Just not in the last one.
GG will get him next time. I mean, they will have yet another shot at defeating Hit on Ghost Town, but I think in this first round you saw a difference in strategy, in shooting as well. Like, I think the shots...
There wasn't that many shooting though.
Well, there was not that much shooting, but the shooting that Hit and Run was doing was definitely better than the shooting that Yogurt was doing. Talking about, for example, the initial clip of Depressed on the IS-7, he did 4-4-2, which normally with the T-57 ability and the Onslaught modifiers, you want to do at least 3, but normally aim for 4. And yeah, then Hit just, I mean, quickest reactions in the West. Cap, GG, easy.
It was a great round, Ken. It really was a great round. I mean, for them, everything went in their favor. They get to go on the second round of Ghost Town now as well, and they're just pumped already. You know, if you're just quickly stealing it, you're just like laughing and giggling, and it's like, it's what it really just was that easy, you know?
Yep. Captain's rating coming in, 2.2 for Hit, 7.1 for Yogurt. So obviously there is a discrepancy in the perception that the captains had going in towards the AMD OLS. And so far, this discrepancy in tier or in skill in the first round, it definitely showed. Maybe Yogurt can do better in round number 2. Now, if you're Yogurt, you definitely want to switch something up. If you're Hit, are you going to do something? Because first round worked so well, you could just try something like that again.
I mean, I think they can do whatever they want. They have the option to play numerous light tanks as well. Of course, Kian, don't forget that. Like, they could play many light tanks as well at any given point, because they have Ketsai, Monster as well. Although I don't know who the third light tank would be for Hit and Run.
That is a very good question indeed. But then again, I think triple light is just super risky to play, because if the enemy team only has like 1 or even 0, then you're kind of screwed from the get-go. I mean, we saw it just now. Double light against 0, and the firepower advantage on the team of Hit and Run was just there. And I think we're not really going to switch it up for hit and run. Yes, they did switch out the 121B for a Sente X, but that's still an Inspire medium together with triple T57, double IS7, and an E100.
Joker in return though, double 113 IS7 T57 heavy, double bat, and an RHM Panzer wagon. So this time around they only have one light though.
Only one light, but I have to say I have been and I will continue to be a passionate hater of the 113. Although some of the issues that it has do get mitigated in Onslaught. It likes to take Amorex, it likes to take fires, both of those not that big of a problem, and also the gun that in randoms is sometimes very infuriating. That's less of an issue in Onslaught.
Now, opening wise, you can see Quick is not having any of this nonsense from last time around. He's instantly taken the strike. Monster might clip out Ramadik there in the IS7. He's trying with the ability popped. Gets one, has two more. Gets a second as well. Rexar is peeking the RHM. Doesn't care, man. Finds the reset on that as well. And now hit with those T57 heavies this time around. T-Sec bleeding quite a bit for this. But Rexar starting to take the strike. Might give it a shot against Ramadik as well. The cap will now get started. And look at the HP though. I mean, like, sure, you know, Rexar taking the strike. That's all he had to do on this side. The X is now moving in. The T57s are starting the cap. Kihan, how does Yogurt stop this?
That is a very good question. We can already see Monster with the first kill, Liquor dying off screen, and Quick with that RHM tries to book it out, but does get hit as well on the crosshair. Hit and run at this point in time with 9,000 HP advantage. How do they do it? It's absolutely crazy. Depressed going down towards one shot. The ram coming in from Cat's Eye as well. Humble probably with an absolutely smoking hot gun, but what can he do? T-Sec peeking, has two remaining, gives one, gives two. Cat's Eye to pick it up, and Hit and Run are like an unstoppable train rolling over Yogurt.
Yeah, this is quickly forget if you're Yogurt, right? Losing these two rounds, again, they're getting dominated in this one. 113s did not seem to stand up to the I7 Kia, to the T57 heavy. Love now getting deleted as well, and Hit and Run's approach to this map seems a bit superior to what Yogurt had intended of doing. I mean, I like the RHM taking the strike, but he was not covered at all either.
Yeah, no, there were two bat chats in the back of the map on like the zero line crossing over, but they just weren't ready for this, well, ambitious peak by the IS7, but it ended up working out. Rachmedik now biting the dust off Ghost Town. Only Quick remains, but his whereabouts already known. And it's going to be Monster to pick it up. Hit and Run with one of the quickest Ghost Towns that I have ever seen are going to make it 2-0. Tuesday was the day of the tiebreakers. Today seems to be
listen, man, if everything today was 3-0, it would just balance out the day we had on Tuesday. I don't feel bad about it, Kihan. All right, we had 20 rounds on Tuesday. If we only have 12 today, that brings us back on the regular average, okay?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
But yeah, I mean, if you're Yogurt, you came probably into this match pretty hyped, wanting to prove yourself against Hit, but it doesn't even seem like they're getting a foot into the door or something. They're just getting rolled. I mean, rolled and smoked.
Hit and Run is currently doing best of 5 world record speedrun any %.
Yeah.
They're not far away from it, Kian. Like, this was also like 2 minutes, no?
I will check after the damage stats. So, detailed report. 2 minutes 23.
Yeah, that means that we're so far at game time of 4 minutes, Kihan. All right.
Well, I mean, you know, Hit so far just the better team. What can we say? And like their no nonsense approach to Ghost Town. Like, they didn't do anything extremely special. They just played, well, one-dimensional as well, but for them it wasn't a problem because the reactions that they had upon seeing the opening of Yogurt just always on point. I think they got a little bit lucky with getting the strike, stealing it away from the light tank, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't think that would have even mattered. And so after Ghost Town, Yogurt probably still wondering what happened. Hit giggling even harder. We are gonna go to at least Yogurt's map pick. It's on Himmelsdorf.
Yeah, and if you were like, oh, I'm gonna need to go to the toilet quickly, and I'll come back to watch Hit versus Yogurt. You come back, you're like, it's 2-0. What happened?
Yeah, if you did that, you better pause the stream and then came back to it, because so far.
This is what I was... Okay, if they do now win this 3-0, Kihan, it's what we were talking about in the beginning, right? How good is Yogurt really? And more worrying, Kihan, is what is happening to Cashback.
I mean, Cashback will have the chance later in the day to make up for a lot of the, let's call them mishaps that have happened so far, resulting in them being in place 5 of the season, which is definitely not where anyone would have predicted them to be. First of all, though, what might be the last and final round of this match number 2 is upon us. It's going to be Himmelsdorf. By the way, if I'm not mistaken, now the auction for the Lion and the 780 should be up. So be quick to grab those tanks. And with that, back into the match. Hit and run. Once again, no nonsense approach is, I think, what I would characterize their lineup as. Triple E100, triple T57, a singular Foch B. That is straight up in your face. That is something screaming, we are better than you, and we are about to prove it.
Yogurt in return, double Foch B for TDU, AX, double T57, and an E100 as well. This hit and run lineup is looking very dangerous if it can actually push you.
Exactly. And for Yogurt, I mean, they have the tools to deal with those E100s. Like, they have double Foch B, they have double T57, they even have a 430U that could continuously provide DPM. But hit and run, they have the tools to capitalize if the E100s get engaged upon, which is that triple T57. Now, however, hit and run immediately straight through the middle with that triple E100. We can see Liquor and Depressed in the T57s are ready to receive. The Foch Bs coming in as well, but so far the bleed on the E100s less than substantial.
Well, the E100s are supposed to bleed. DJ is shooting from the side, gets a clip out as well, and now the double T57 from Hit and Run, finding Liquor as well in that T57 down towards the one-shot. T-Sec is feeling the hurt as well though, but there will be this downtime moment right here. It's about to happen. It has come. All of the tanks from Yogurt are reloading. They're up 1,000, 2,000 HP, but they're all reloading. This is where Hit and Run needs to strike. This is where they need to make the difference. Rexar loses his loader. Probably not entirely too happy about that. We've got to remember though that T100 has 2 loaders, so it's not terrible for him. And then DJ getting pushed out by Mindbreaker, who does find DJ reloading as well. Franek in the meantime finding Love, and there's one more E100 of Humble getting surrounded now as well. And this downtime, Kihan, where the Foch Bs were reloading, it felt like forever, but they're back in the fray now.
They're back in the fray, and Rexa about to feel the hurt as the Foch Bs do clip out in towards him. Hit and run now down towards 3 tanks, 4 remaining for Yogurt, but once again the downtime is gonna start coming in. Monster now fully loaded once again, has Humble in front of him. Franek clipping out, but the E100 does actually have armor. Monster starting to struggle. The second bounce shot in towards the turret front. A strike connecting as well. The third shot bounces. Monster about to go 0 for 4. Never mind make that one, but Humble stands unfazed and most importantly alive as Ketsai tries to find Ramadik here, but he is getting clipped in the back himself. Double kill for Hit and Run, but the Foch B falls 2v2.
Franek now starting to move in with his 3 shells and knows that Quick has used this ability. He needs Monster to do better than the last clip we saw him do. Now Mindbreaker crossing over. Franek with the flick though, gets the shot as well, drops in towards 600 HP. Monster now starting to move on towards Quick. They know that they can kill him with the shells they have, but they need Monster to actually hit his shots this time. Can Franek hit them? He does. Franek does hit a shot, and Monster surely on the back of a Foch B won't miss.
The heal comes in for Quick. Absolutely crucial. Quick is going to heal back all of what he just took. Mindbreaker with the kill on towards Franek, and Quick says to the God of Death, not today, as he is going to go on towards a full reload. Monster about to come off of that, but Mindbreaker smartly playing the hold down position in the windows, and Quick is going to have all the time in the world. Still though, the T57 of Monster, if he does his shots well, he still has a chance.
Yeah, now Monster readjusting, moving back towards the cap, not the worst play. Trying to surprise, but Mindbreaker hits the timing there to peek through the window. Monster takes a shot from the 430U, making this even more difficult than it was before. He had a shot to spare, now he doesn't have anything left. Popped his ability as well, trying to find something. And now, though, I think Mindbreaker yet again hitting the timing, spotting out Monster. And now quick peeking with his push B. He misses on the first, and he may even... Nope, he will not die. Monster has one left, and now healing back up past a one-shot, peeking around, finding the kill and shutting it down is Quick in the push B. And yeah, that clip, that missed clip he had, more impactful than we imagined.
Yeah, the buffed turret front of the E100, actually not that easy for the heat of the T57 to penetrate that one, and Yogurt managed to stay alive. The Foshby heal ability, pretty good.
Imagine, Kihan, about 9 minutes from now, right? Moff is going to see this on the stream. He's going to see Monster clip out, and he's going to be like, I can't, I should have had the prediction right, I can't, man, wow. I'm just imagining, you know, those sad little British tears rolling down his face as he realizes, and he's like, oh, they still got it. And then the first B heal was clutch, though, like literally clutch.
Absolutely.
It was,
that came in a split second before or after the shell hit. Like, if he activates his heal like a second later, then all of a sudden he doesn't survive it.
Yeah,
so that was absolutely amazing. Yeah, 7K. 19, 17, 17. I mean, the shooting good as well. Almost whiffed it there at the end, but yeah, the fact that the 430U stayed alive too, that is the tank that you really want to have staying alive for a long time, because those 430Us, E50Ms as well, they only do damage over time, so them dying early is always bad. And yeah, talking about dying early, that triple E100, that was a lot of meat, a lot of steel on the side of hit, but it was not enough for the double T57 double Fosh B combo.
Yeah, Monster still does 6k, but that clip against the E100 maybe should have overpeaked for Kihan to get a shot on that lower plate area. But it took so much longer for him to die, more damage, needed to reload, took longer to close the distance. You know, it's all not great there for hit and run. But Yogurt showing signs of life, picking up around as well. They need to do it once more, Kihan.
Well, Yogurt not only need to do it once more, if they want to win the the match, they need to do it twice more. And for hit and run, I mean, yeah, a temporary setback at this point in time. But to be honest, losing this round so far, not too critical, because, well, Yogurt is not on a match point yet, and that means no points towards them for the standings.
So... No.
And quick little correction, by the way, Yogurt did not win against Cashback. Ping won against Cashback. But still, the questions we have towards Cashback, obviously with that, don't get smaller. But yeah, Yogurt, they have bigger issues right now than to worry against, to worry about a map or a match against Cashback. They are still going up against match point for hit and run.
Kihan, you know, I'm just predicting the future. All right. I'm telling you that Yogurt is going to beat Cashback one day down the line.
Are you going to predict that?
No.
All right. Not willing to put the eggs into the basket there. Hit and run coming into Himmelsdorf, number 2. Double 50B, can opener, E100, double T57, and a CS. Quite some curious tank picks on the lineup of hit and run.
Yeah, a little bit of everything. Yogurt in return, a lot more simplistic. 1-1B. 5 T57 heavies and an E100. I mean,
5 T57s. That's kind of crazy.
I mean, the Inspire does give them a a boost to their reload still, but yeah.
I mean, it does also boost the accuracy. Some people, even in the T57, they don't activate the ability for the first clip before the first shot, but they rather wait to charge up to like stage 3, and then they only activate it. So a bit of accuracy from the 1-1B before that coming in might be nice, as LeVay goes into the window with that 1-1B. He does get a crucial shot on towards DJ in the can opener, and that means Inspire is on, but a can opener hold down, he's not really going to care about the T57s.
And now the CS63 is arriving on the hill. He will get the info, and the question is, how does Yogurt react? They have to react. They're about to get all spotted.
Yeah, Monster with that CS is going to get full information on towards what Yogurt is doing, and Humble taking 1, make that 2 by the T57. The third one does not connect, but T-Sec should have done enough to once again recharge his ability, is going to be able to completely reload, as well as Humble takes another shot of damage. And this little hit squad, the 50Bs, they are fast, like they don't reload as fast as the T57s, but they certainly drive faster, but they're about to drive into Quick and Mindbreaker as Rexar gives another shot in towards Humble that's now dangerously low. 1200 bounces his shot as well.
Now the T57s are starting to make their move on the 8th line, on towards the Tsek and Franek T57 heavies, but Ketsai and Piotr are about to arrive from behind the threat. Lumen, here they come, already clipping out on towards Mindbreaker. He gets tracked, he gets held, he gets set on fire, he gets deleted in about 3.5 seconds as those unspotted 50Bs come in. And Yogurt was trying to convert on this part of the map. You could see how all the tanks came close, but they were just a little bit too late, a little bit too unaware even to make too much from it. The result is down again, down at about 6,000 HP as well, and Rexar getting the kill on Humble, and now Quick getting chased down in his T57 heavy. Hit may have dropped one Kihan, but the second one here looking like all that they need to put this match into its decisive score of 3-1 for Hit and Run.
Yeah, indeed, Yogurt are going to get a point on the board for themselves, but that's going to be all she wrote. Hit and Run in 3 out of the 4 rounds that we saw, just with, once again, a dominant performance, proving that they are on a different level entirely. Depressed here, one of the last 2 tanks remaining on the lineup of Yogurt does get off one more reload, but that's not going to change the fact that those T57s, I mean, maybe you know this show, I think it's mostly on American television, like destroyed in seconds. That was kind of what happened to Mindbreaker.
But Hit and Run take a decisive victory here, 3-1 over Yogurt, and yeah, got everything they needed. Giving up 1 round, but across the board, Keyhand 3-1. Good to see.
Yeah, that is exactly, I think, what Hit and Run wanted out of this match. They don't really care at the end of the day. Is it 3-0? Is it 3-1? We are taking home 3 points after this one. And for Yogurt, going home empty-handed, well, you could argue maybe they're going home with the experience of how it is to be meeting a team that absolutely outplays you.
Yeah, Hit and Run better on almost every department, shooting, tactics, a little bit of everything. But this one, yeah, the good flank across the hill. They had the information, they knew, they came with a double 50B from behind. The timing was near perfect because they found that T57 move down the 8th line, because Yogurt also realized they had to do something, but it was already too late at that point.
Also interesting to see here, both of those rounds on Himmelsdorf, they didn't really focus around the cap, which is what essentially was the meta in Season 2. A lot of the plays that we saw really focused around 1, 2, and 3 line. Here, both of those teams with a different approach, focusing around Courtyard, Banana, and now in the last round here, even on the hill with that double 50B flank. That one can obviously go horribly wrong if the opposing team gets the information tower, and it's just like, well, wait, they have 2 50Bs and a CS out of the fight. Guys, let's push them. Whereas here, yeah, Hit and Run just with a huge advantage over Yogurt. Once again, I think the score of 3-1 is kind of fair as towards what happened. And with this, we are going to be handing over towards some short replays. And after that, we'll be back with match number 3.
I have no idea when the last time was. Because it's not gonna be the Ukrainian team of Cashback, the also Legend Series Season 2 winners. It's going to be W from the pits of hell coming through the lower bracket and cleaning up Cashback.
And we do be back with match number 3. I think this time around on Tuesday we were just finished with match number 1, but today seems to things seem to be moving a bit quicker. The two teams that we have now coming up, it's going to be a Polish derby. Ping against Mafia, and Ping, we talked about it already. They have beaten Cashback, but Mafia not looking too bad themselves.
No, whatsoever. They beat Hit and Run. They were up 2-0, if I remember, and Hit and Run came back, and then they won out on tiebreaker. Ping, yeah, I got it, guys. I'm getting old. Was the ones that beat Cashback, point stands. So, same story. Like, how good is Ping really? Can they bring it to Mafia, or was it just the fact that they played against Cashback?
Let's see, the team of Ping, you can see the 9 people that might be making up the team of 7 that's going to playing later. They have had some good performances. They have also had some, well, shaky performances as well, if you want to call it like that. But today against Mafia, maybe they can take the next step in towards phase 2 of the OLS. And here, Mafia, I think a lot of the players on that team very, very proven as well, and so far not really missing that much of a beat in the AMD OLS Season 3. However, I mean, Tuesday was the day where a lot of questions got raised by a lot of teams. We went to 4 tiebreakers in a row, which means that all of the teams kind of had some good and some bad rounds in between themselves.
Sure, Kian. Willing to go with that. 22% for Ping, 78% for Mafia.
Yeah, I think a lot of people paying respect towards the fact that Ping was able to win against Cashback in tiebreaker, which arguably even should not even have been a tiebreaker. But yeah, that leaves the question, is Ping this good, or is Cashback just not up to the task right now? And Hellmind just absolutely popping off 3.8 KD, 3,500 DPG so far. Then again, it's always easy to perform well when the team is winning. What is going to happen if his team possibly starts losing a couple rounds, or even 3, as we have the map pick and ban coming in, Ghost Town and Cliff being removed? We're going to start on Pilsen, a very technical map, in my opinion. Then we are going to Ensk, which is very technical, but also always a furious frenzy of chaos. Especially on Tuesday, that was the case. Sand River, Moravanka, Himmelsdorf, Studzianki getting removed. That leaves Westfield as the possible tiebreaker.
Yeah, okay. Pilsen coming in first. This is a Mafia map, IMO. They were pretty good on it, and then Ensk as well. I like the map picks here, but I'm wondering how good Pilsen is going to be for Ping, though, because Mafia and Pilsen, good memories.
Indeed. We see here a little bit of a comparison in between Miku and Yuzek. The discrepancy in battles played probably down to, well, some teams just getting the quicker victories on the board, not necessarily Yuzek just being switched out or something. KD is kind of low, but damage up there. 1 point separating them. Which one of the two is going to emerge victorious today is the question. Also, win rate for Yuzek a lot higher, 61.5. That indicates he's an absolute asset to his team.
Now, Yuzek has been doing pretty well, and he's, one of those players that swapped from Storm out. And honestly, looking at it, Kian, it seems like he made the right decision.
Yeah, Storm, the team that is now known as Lodes, currently one of their players streaming with the Twitch title at the end. We'll have to see how this situation develops. First of all, though, obviously all eyes are going to be on the up-and-coming match, Ping versus Mafia. Who do you favor?
Mafia by quite a bit, actually, to be honest.
I think that's fair to say, yeah. Mafia the more established team as well. Ping kind of up and coming. The question is, where is the ceiling for Ping? Where are they going to land at the end of this season? Prediction-wise, once again, you, me, and Phil going with the 3-1 Moff this time around. Again, the odd one out, 3-2. That man really is struggling.
He's trying to be different, Kihan, and sometimes trying to be different just doesn't work out, yeah? You just start tumbling further and further. The good thing is, soon he's going to be able to throw the towel in the ring and be like, well, I don't care anymore.
Yeah. Let's see. Pilsen though, I like the map. I like that on it you can play a lot of different styles. We saw fast caps, we saw control, we saw traps even. Although I think the T57 traps on Pilsen are not as easy, because I think the only area where you can really sort of trap people is around the cap. Otherwise, the distance of engagement gets kind of too big. We also saw some interesting stuff on the zero line being played, with the Fosh Bees winning out against Bad Chats, but I don't think that's going to be the case this time around. Ping coming in with a mouse, double T57, 430U, Fosh B, and an RHM.
Versus Mafia's EBR, E50M, double T57, double mouse, and an E100 keyhand. A lot heavier on Mafia's side, quite a bit even.
Yeah, Mafia bringing this triple mouse. We'll have to see how they... double mouse E100. We'll have to see how exactly they distribute those very, very heavy assets, as all three of them get spotted at the start of the game. No one else, though. So Ping currently still unaware as to what exactly Mafia want to be doing. This EBR of Kono will have to get some information here. So far, only seeing Jacek, though. In the RHM, he does immediately move over towards the artist strike, doesn't attempt to take it though, and I think the 430U camo should be good enough to stay unspotted against the EBR here. It does get spotted now, but Kono in turn takes a shot of damage. So I would think opening-wise, Mafia trading it out here against Ping.
He got a lot of info though, Kono, there at the last second. He got both 430Us and the Fushby. So they know everything as well now, even without a light. And I think he's going to be able to steal away this strike as well. He's keeping the speed up. He's timed it well. He's going to get out as well. Miku will find another shot. A good HE shot there by Miku. But Kono did steal the strike away.
Kono stole the strike. And in the meantime, one of the mouses, Jacek that is going to take another one. And so slowly but surely, the nuclear arsenal for Mafia building up here. As we see Ping attempting a T57 trap in the C1, C2 location, but so far no one really tripping the wire by Mafia. They're all pretty far removed from that position.
The question is, can this... Oh, the double 57 got spotted out. He spotted them out. It was YOLO even in the 100. He finds Adi, he finds like the... Ooh! 1600 damage just like that in 3 seconds.
Yeah, double RT strike getting used, and I think to pretty good effect by the team of Mafia. Those autoloaders, they are very, very threatening, but not so much anymore when both of them have already taken 800 damage each.
Triple caps and about the start.
Yeah, like and Adi are about to come in. Kono is taking the third strike here. And YOLO, I guess, expecting for the T57s to start and drive in. And we see Barkis and Orzhek in those T57s in the cap, able to avoid Like and Adi as they start coming in. YOLO with that E100 from the sidelines is able to provide support. Jacek does drive in towards the cap, is going to stop it. Decaps start coming in, but another strike is going to land. Both of those T57s down towards one shot. One of them into the grave already. Ping is falling apart.
And Jacek is starting to be the human shield on the road for his 57s to get out. He realizes that his life just doesn't have as much value as theirs does, so he lets them escape, sacrificing himself in the process. Very noble there. Now they're moving on towards YOLO, but Orzhek and Barkis are finding Botsians in the mouse in the meantime. RHM is chasing down Kono, but Kihan, when we look at the situation, YOLO is also just a very healthy tank that they need to push and can't kill, and they have nothing left already. Pretty good first round from Mafia.
Yeah, some players by Ping alive still, but the hopes and dreams of winning this first round number 1 by far long gone. Orzhek about to come off reload with the T-57 is going to shut down Beton in the Foch as David trying to somehow wiggle his way away, but he is only going to wiggle back into the garage as Mafia are going to win with 6 tanks alive. That was a very, very good round coming out from them.
Yeah, and they spotted that T-57 trap as well, and then afterwards it started spiraling a little bit. First 1600 damage to them with those double strikes, beautiful stuff. And then on top of that, you also have the cap going. I don't even think that they needed to do what they did. You saw them pull into that little nook there, that cranny in the middle. They could have had YOLO spot the 57s coming around, and he could even block them, and they would probably even cap out or just delete a 57 heavy. But once they peaked, nonetheless, I mean, they just kind of exploded.
Yeah, and damage numbers coming in. Kona on top with that EBR, but yeah, 1600 of that damage is down to the strikes. And that just goes to show if you pick up the utility that is spread out around the map, then you can entirely win off of that. Damage spread over the whole team, pretty good for the team of Mafia. And for Ping, I think after the double T-57 was found, things kind of went haywire. You see the double T-57 not really with an impact here. Normally, you want to get out at least 2 clips. Both of them only got not even 1. So, yeah, tactic against tactic. Mafia just winning out in this matchup here. In this first game, but then again, it is a best of 5. Nothing is lost yet for Ping, and they have shown that they're able to come back into matches. Talking once again about that crazy upset against Cashback. So they know what it's like to lose early on in a match, and then they know even better how to get back into it. So if you're Mafia, I think you cannot let go of the pressure that you're starting to build.
Yeah. But at the same time, though, I have no doubts that Mafia also saw that match against Cashback and realized that, you know, they probably shouldn't underestimate Ping and just ego kill them or try to kill them. They play a strat here. It works out for them, stealing a lot of strikes, a lot of damage from that as well. And Pilsen, there seems to be a good map for them. Ping, we're going to see more from them in the second round.
Yeah, and talking about the strikes especially, like all 3 of them were picked up by Mafia. All 3 of them connected on 2 tanks. That's 2,400 damage that you don't have to deal with your guns. And, I mean, that's not like a full tank in Onslaught, but it is a lot of, you know, cooldown time of your guns that you basically don't have to utilize. So when it came to the actual engagement in between both teams, you could see how quickly those T-57s were actually evaporating. And as it apparently was not quite clear to everyone on the stream yet, I'm going to once again explain the captain's rating here. Lower is better. We asked all captains to essentially rate all teams, how they thought they would end up at the end of the season. And then we basically averaged it out. And so essentially all captains together are predicting for Mafia to fall in between sort of place 3 and 4. And for Ping, roughly place 7. They are saying Ping are not going to make it to phase 2, which currently looks like Ping might be able to do just that and go to phase 2. We'll have to wait and see.
Lineup. So this Ping lineup a lot more aggressive. Double T-57, triple T-57 heavy, triple E-50M, and an RHM to round it off.
They switch around a little bit still, but they seem to stick the triple T-57. For Mafia, we have double mouse, double 430U, double Foch B, and once again, it is going to be the story of RHM against EBR. Last time around, the EBR absolutely winning out.
Kono is very good in that EBR. He does a lot of good stuff, and if you meet him in random on Sol, you'll see him do that as well. He's very, very good at it, knows what he's doing, and can make the difference. Of course, if you get straight pushed by this lineup from Ping, you do know that there is a little bit of issues for the EBR.
This time around, Jacek once again hitting 3 tanks. Double mouse in 430U, currently known for Ping, but hitting only 3, quote-unquote, means also that Jacek doesn't have the secondary plane available, as the triple E-50M of Ping are immediately going to go in towards the cap here. They do get some shots against YOLO, who is trying to take the strike. I think he should be getting that on time. Never mind that, Jacek is taking the western strike as well, should be able to reset YOLO, and this means that Mafia now need to come in and provide resets. The strike goes on to YOLO. He is not going to be able to pick up that one in time. Kono with the strike on the field. Will it be in time is the question. No, I don't think so, Darky.
Does the piano just in time, Kihan, but Orchek in the meantime, bye-bye, the triple T57 heavy, blow him up. So I think Ping still finds what they needed.
Yeah, indeed, as now Jacek faced with the task of fighting off against triple E50M, and the mouse, well, it does have a lot of HP, but those three E50Ms together have a lot of DPM. So far, the trades, though, going kind of in Jacek's favor, trading 2 for 2, and obviously he does have more alpha, but still, Ping with that first blood on towards Orchek do have the advantage.
Yeah, Jacek trading against an E50M, that's not bad. He knows he has the advantage there because, you know, pure of HP. And Mafia get the RHM spotted out from Jacek, so if Kono could do a little bit of damage towards that, would be huge. He finds a big HE shell, no retaliation from that RHM, so a little bit heading back their way, but the 57s, they're about to arrive. Jacek, does he know? Does he see? Does he even expect this? I mean, he is kind of angled towards it. He's bouncing a lot of shots, but the 50Ms are coming in now as well. The strike hitting home 1.2, but extra damage coming in from the side as well. They are trading off Jacek's life like they should, but they're still always trailing down with that one gun disadvantage. And now Marcel trying to do something here in that mouse, missing the shot as well, whiffing it. Bark is holding the angle, but these 57s, Kihan, they're still pretty healthy.
Indeed, they are very healthy, save for Bochans, who takes one more shot by the Fosh B, but now David and Adi is starting to clip out, but that mouse is an absolute tank. They get 2,000 damage. Well, make that 2.4, so not too bad in the end, as Marcel gets another shot on towards Beton on the cross. But now for Ping, it seems like all-out attack. The T-57s, one of them still has all of the shots in the clip, and they want to converge onto Marcel. They want to remove this German super heavy tank, and they succeed in doing so. 3 unanswered kills for Ping currently.
Yeah, they just aren't able to really focus out a target. As Force B of Barkus will start doing that. He'll start finding kills on towards numerous tanks from Mafia, but he's gonna fall for that as well. I don't think he's healing quickly enough to survive against Jacek, and he will not, and it's just Kono left standing there at the end, and it's gonna be Ping making it all even after Pilsen. Good stuff from them there. Never really letting go of the advantage after that first kill.
Yeah, no. Mafia getting caught off guard by this very quick and aggressive opening coming out from Ping. The T-57s and the E-50Ms working well together as a combination. Essentially, the E-50Ms always able to prevent the team of Mafia to drive on towards reloading T-57s, just presenting a constant menace, as Jacek this time around is going to get the jump onto Kono, does kill him, and as you said, 1-1, all even between Ping and Mafia.
Not a bad round for Ping whatsoever. They do find a lonely little Orchak there in that Force B. I don't think he expected the triple T-57 heavy, because Kono had to go straight to the strike, bypassing the info. So I think they were missing the info on the triple T-57 heavy. And yeah, the Force B with ability, it can heal, but first it needs to get to the healing stage.
Exactly, and the T-57 with the active ability is just going to be pew pew pew. It's going to feel like basically no time at all until the Foch B evaporates, and we can see Orchek with 410 damage. He did block one shot of damage, but he took 8 others, so yeah, for him, not the best of games. And also Marcel in that mouse, only 1,000 damage. That is not really where you want to end up. And for the team of Ping, the T-57s really coming in clutch.
They are where they're supposed to be, all the way on the top there. And even the 50M's doing pretty well. Baton is the only one that had to suffer a little bit in this game, but across the board, good stuff from Ping. Showing, again, that they are capable of doing what they need to do, finding more success, making it all even, and keeping their hopes up in this match.
Yeah. Ping retaliating. The first round didn't really go their way, but the second round, that was very, very nice to see that of them. I think Ping really is a team that is making progress. Skill-wise, tactic-wise, experience-wise in this season number 2. But now, Pilsen was their map pick. We are going to go in towards Ensk. And Ensk is going to be interesting to see because Ping... I mean, we keep talking about that match against Cashback, but that is just because it was so unfathomable to see Cashback lose there, and they really got caught with their pants down by the likes of Ping. So let's see if they're able to repeat that, or if Mafia saw that match and now they got it nailed down, because after all, Mafia picked Ensk.
Sure, and they saw what Ping is capable of, so they should be semi-prepared for what is about to happen. Keyhand. But between these two, like the Ping Cashback match could have ended before tiebreaker. You know that as well as I do. So for Ping, it's a matter of proving their consistency. Picking up a round is already a start, though. That's more than Lotus did.
Oh man, really kicking them when they are down, aren't we? But deservedly so. I mean, that really was not good by Lotus. The team that had very high expectations upon themselves and so far not living up to it. But on the other hand, on the flip side of the coin, we have Ping that really are punching above their weight so far. And they have the possibility to now make it onto match point against Mafia. They, with the same possibility as well. I mean, quite obviously so. But I am positively surprised by what we're seeing from Ping at this point.
They're doing well. They just have to keep it up. And if they can do that throughout the season, Kihan, you know, like right now it's looking like Lotus is not going to make it, but that opens the position for somebody else.
Indeed. Maybe Ping wants to fill that spot. We'll have to wait and see. As we are about to jump in towards Ensk. Who's going to go on to match point first is the question. Ping are going to bring triple mouse, double T57, 1-1B, and an E4.
Mafia in return, double E4, Fush B, Bat, Mouse, double E100. So again, pretty heavy, but this time from both these teams. Just the biggest difference there is the Inspire medium, right, for a regular medium.
Inspire medium for, well, clip or regular medium. And on the other hand, we also have this double T57 that's paired against basically Fosh B, Batchat combination. So I think actually the team of Ping with the slight firepower advantage. Although that double E4 can obviously be very, very useful against those super heavy tanks, especially the E100, not quite as well armored in most places like a mouse would be against the E4 375 APCR pen. That is quite brutal. And we see Ping taking the green side with most of their tanks, 5 of them. Meanwhile, Mafia spreading out in towards the city. Botchans already has to burn his medkit as his, I think, driver or gunner was down. Yuzek with a good shot in towards Adi, and the plan of Ping is becoming pretty apparent.
Yuzek trading it out though with 100 with the higher alpha, should be winning that normally. But now the info gets taken, gets used by David. They see everything. They know that Mafia is entirely in the city. Mark is taking the strike without problem. Now in return, they will see everything as well. And now we got to think about how does either of the two teams, Kihan, get anything going here?
Yeah, currently it seems to be a little bit of a stalemate. Although in the case of Ping, they have to be careful that the two mouses don't get singled out too much. I'm talking about Adi and Botchans here. Yuzek taking another shot of damage, but with the mouse, most of the time you can kind of afford to do that, especially when both teams know that there isn't something like triple or quadruple T57 that we've seen just eradicate mouses before. Conrad with a cheeky little angle, so if Adi wants to drive forward, he would be able to shoot that, but now double cap has been started, and I don't think Mafia can really reset at least Yajek here at this point in time, so the timer is on, and it is on Mafia.
And they so far have taken the main part of the battering and the bruising. as you can see on their team. They've dropped a little bit of HP across the board. Strikes are coming back up as well for either team. But so far, pretty passive approach from both these teams, not really wanting to make a mistake.
Very, very slow round of Ensk that we are seeing right now. Jacek, though, with a cheeky shot in towards YOLO that didn't have the Juggernaut ability active, so is going to take 500 plus from that one. Good roll from the mouse coming out. Corner, though, with a good shot as well in towards Jacek, so shots once again getting traded back and forth between both teams. Miko is going to take the strike in the city. Orzhek is going to take... the strike on the field. Orzhek is going to take the strike in the city. And it's going to be a game of small little trades here with no clear winner as of now. All of that being said and done, though, if we take a look at the HP bars, Ping a lot healthier currently.
Yeah, Ping have been doing good, making good work of their trades, of their healthy tanks as well. Finding success, finding more success even, and that's good for them, but it's not game winning.
Definitely not. We still have all 14 tanks up and available, able to retaliate. I mean, Conrad now, that is a very adventurous position with that Batchat, very far up, but as Ping is committing more resources closer to the cap, maybe they're hoping to get that little flank off. We saw the double T-57 heavy earlier in the north. They would have been able to retaliate, but those T-57 heavies can also be very frustrating in that part of the map. There's a lot of fences, a lot of destructible houses, all of that kind of stuff that can really prevent you from having an impact over longer ranges. And with 2 tanks on the cap now, Jacek is going to peek, is going to spot out Addy. That is not really giving him an opening right now. Jacek might even switch over, intuition over to HE. No, he chooses to go to the other side here. 15 seconds on the cap. I mean, Mafia really need to get something going because the strike isn't going to be there in time, and Jacek indeed is going to drive on the cap, is going to prevent it from completing right now. The strike is going to complete. They're probably going to use it on towards the strike just to get rid of some of that pressure because Jacek right now is locked in towards the cap.
Yeah, but Conrad's going to take the info, and they have triple strike, Ihan. They could do a lot of damage with this if they opt to use it. Reset, they're coming out. Ooh, Jacek with the peak does take 773 to the face. Now the 57 heavy starting to cross over with Miku and Baton. There's the damage starting to come out on towards that mouse. He's getting dropped really low already. There's the triple strike, though, coming in as well. Goodbye, Miku. No, that's the third one, actually. Sorry. A little bit of delay, but goodbye, Miku, nonetheless.
Yeah, Miko is just going to get shot down by the artillery strikes. That must not be feeling good. And now Mafia, they seem to have the advantage. The HP difference has also evened out. Bochan's trying to tank it against that Foch B, but Barkis has support by Conrad and Orzhek. Now Beton trying to drive in, but he does take a few on the cross as well, down towards a one-shot. David trying to remedy the situation, but he's the Inspire medium. He's not the one that is normally supposed to push. This is a desperate attempt by Ping coming out as David takes an Amarak, is able to repair it, but Conrad already off of reload is able to cover Orzhek while that one is on reload.
Yeah, Orzhek, they're using the ability to get save, and we talked about it. Yeah, Ping had the HP lead in that game. They were making the trades with that one mistake. They're on A5 with that double T57, trying to find Jacek in that mouse. The bait even from Jacek, and now Barkis pulling up, pulling to the hood, starting to clip out. Fools gets one, looking for the second, like not having much better situation himself. And the rest of the Ping team now quickly descending themselves into a quick death. And yeah, I mean, what can you say? What can you say? One mistake spirals the whole game in return for Mafia, who's going to pick it up 7-0.
Indeed, Mafia playing a patient game, playing the waiting game, and it does end up working out for them. 7-0, but for the longest time, it actually looked like Ping were having the advantage in
the triple strike,
this game.
Though, bro. You know, they never used any of the strikes like Ping did, and that's a big difference there. Accumulating strikes, Ski, can lead to these funny moments that you just saw, where there's 3 players on their team that have a strike, Ping has none of that, and then all of a sudden, it's 2.5k damage to strikes coming out of the sky.
Yep. I think it was all down in the end to this overextension by the T-57s because, well, even with 3 strikes, you're going to take 1,200 damage each on the T-57s, but they took a lot more, and that's why one of them died. I think they were just losing their nerves
but honestly,
a little bit.
If you think about it as well, Mafia did have 3 strikes, right? And Ping was using theirs. Mafia could use this to force an engagement in 2 minutes from now. They could force an engagement. They could collect more strikes, yeah, and drop it all to force an engagement. It would be almost a similar effect, except now it worked even better because Ping made the first engagement.
Yeah, I think Ping losing a little bit their patience because they recognize that, like, hey, Mafia have not been using their strikes. They're building this arsenal. And if it comes to some engagement later on, then we are most likely going to end up worse from it because from the strike, you can't stay safe. Like, normally if you're on a one-shot and you're hiding behind a house, well, that's all well and good because you're going to stay alive. But the strike, it does not care.
Can they bring it back to a tiebreaker, though? Or does Mafia's experience take it away here? I mean, Mafia is playing very controlled, very respecting, even towards Ping and their capabilities. Could say that much, at least.
Absolutely. Mafia are playing slow here. And I think what they're trying to do, or what they tried to do here on Ensk, as soon as they recognized, like, hey, we're not going to have an immediate shootout. Okay, let's settle back and let's play this one towards the one advantage that we definitely have, and that is the experience in between the players. Like, yeah, maybe we're going to trade better, maybe we're going to trade worse, but we have this overarching game plan of not putting our strikes preemptively. Instead, we are just going to wait.
That's a good game plan.
We're going to wait for the mistake of Ping, and they made it, so
I guess they could take another strike, like 4 of them, and then they could engage on the guys on the cap. Because you know there's 3 guys in the cap, which means you can drop the bomb and make a kill, and then you know that Ping would have to react. So maybe Ping was aware of that. They're like, they're not using their strikes. And they realize that in a minute or 2, they're going to be in real trouble.
Especially if, like, we are talking about the potential of 4 strikes. I think they even had so many rotationary tanks available that they could have built up even 5, and then it's like 2,000 damage.
Something is dying at that point.
Yeah.
Reminds me of those funny El Haluf clips you saw probably once. Where
yeah, I think at one point I saw a clip where one team had 7 strikes, so it looked kind of bad for them in HP. All of a sudden, bim pam. Yeah, now we are winning, guys.
Yeah, dropping. We did that. I remember one 9A match. I think it was in some qualifier or something. You know, I think we had like 6 strikes at some point, and it's like when you push out, and the first guy that gets spotted, you're like, "Sorry, buddy. Sorry. Somebody has
nothing
to feel it.
Personal,
it's nothing
kid."
personal, but yeah. Especially because I think we had CSs as well, so it was like big strikes, CS strikes. It was like the whole American army pulling up.
The ground painted green with all of those strikes. Yeah, I think we are talking about the same clip. Well, now though, match point Mafia, and they're bringing a tank that I really like to see. It is going to be E100 mouse Batchat 268, 1E3 and double E4.
Ping still switching a little bit, but they're going for the double mouse, double T57 Bat and double E4. Mafia looks like they want to brawl this time though.
That indeed looks like a brawling lineup with the double E4 and the E3. The 268 obviously there to capitalize as well. Can absolutely pop off. This also relies on towards the team of Mafia though to have good communication and leave the one-shots for the 268. Normally you don't want to waste high alpha on low HP targets, but with the 268 and active ability, you really want to turn into a machine gun.
Initial damage on the mouse, kind of what you expect, but they both hit, so Botzian's minus 1500, Yasik already on the strike here. And contrary to what I said, Mafia not opting for the brawl, opting for the control, with the 268 actually playing a 0. Marcel coming forward, but will not be able to deny this strike. Will not get a shot either, so good stuff there from the side of Ping, but they're about to get sniffed out by Conrad.
Yeah, Conrad taking the information tower with the Batchat, obviously a tank that is a great asset, even on Ensk, just because you're able to play in such a mobile way that as soon as you get the information, like he just did now, he knows he can completely take that Artie strike and get away with it. As this time around, though, Ping holding on to the strike of their own. They're opting against using it on Conrad. Never mind, they're going to reset Conrad, but maybe a little bit of a premature thing. That being said, though, Jacek with the Batchat on his of his own is kind of
Conrad,
on the prowl.
Can he win the fight? I think Conrad realizes. He's adjusting. He'll spot Jacek out as well. Jacek will get there on time. Conrad will take the first shot, but this mouse that is behind Conrad should reach rather quickly. I mean, he will trade. No, he will not trade. But now they're starting to spot the rotations as well. Jacek sees the T57 heavies cross back over. So yeah, Mafia there. Conrad took a bit of damage. Good stuff there from Jacek though. Strike, outplay. They reassess. They start taking city control, but they're about to be met by pretty heavy weaponry there. Orchek and Barkis arriving in the E4s versus double T57 heavy.
Yeah, once again, we see both teams playing it in a very controlled way. I think after Miku takes the strike, he is just going to retreat once again because both teams playing without a lot of information at this point in time. Ensk is a very small map, and that means if the opposing tanks haven't been spotted in like 60 seconds, they could just about be anywhere. And Ping is also respecting that, trailing 2000 HP. Are they as well? They could be taking, Mafia that is, could be taking the informational tower here too. I think that Conrad is just waiting for Jacek and Orjek to just sniff out the water here a little bit. Jacek is going to make this crossover. That is kind of brave, to be honest, because he didn't know where the double T57 was. But he doesn't take damage for it. He's going to get towards a new corner, and he even sees the Batchat Jacek just about getting safe.
The bat will be fine, will adjust. Botsians might even try to peek this in the mouse, but now the double E4 making their way back again. I think they thought that maybe they escaped back towards the field. They could have if they wanted to, but Orchek and Bark is pulling up again. Another strike will be available in 25 seconds, which will probably be what they want to wait for.
Yeah. So far, they haven't really given the indication that they are about to do something rash. And Ensk, a map that is normally known for furious clashes right at the start. I think mostly Mafia are forcing this one to be a slow affair here. They're really respecting the past results that Ping have gotten. And this is why they are playing this slow, this controlled. Miko is going to find Jacek, one shot connecting, second one, and the third one even. So the ability coming in clutch for the T57. He's going to be able to get a full reload. Does just about bridge the gap in the HP that both teams had. Jacek taking a few swings at the mouse as well, but the German armor holding up.
Bigger issue here for Ping is that more and more tanks are arriving for the side of Mafia. Now there is a 268 pulling up as well. Big shot from Barkis. Miko, David and Jacek are starting to hunt, but they are not the hunters in this.
Doesn't look like it really, as Barkis is going to get support by a secondary E4 by Orjek, as Marcel has also moved up and the map control really shifting towards the team in yellow now. Mafia have taken a lot of it. They have all of the neutral objectives under control, as Barkis is going to start driving in, but Miko is the one who will get found. He does try clipping out against Barkis, but that one has the damage reduction ability active. Miko down towards a one-shot. The strike is not really going to connect on towards a whole lot of people. David and Jacek end up falling. Miku probably the same thing for him. And Mafia are really looking like they're about to pick up this match.
Yeah, Ping thought that they had an opportunity to start hunting in the city, but it was not Rookie Hunt. They had no such thing. They were the ones that were being hunted, actually. And as a result, Mafia find so much so quickly. I would like to say cool, calm and collected from Mafia, respecting their opponents, sniffing it out slowly, but they do it cleanly, and I think that is the most important aspect for them. They find this match against a Ping that didn't look that bad, but they do take home all the points.
Yeah, I think Mafia in just about the most controlled way possible. That was very slow, Ensk, but by Mafia, very well played. You could see they were taking position after position, angle after angle, just removing the options for rotation for Ping. And at the end of the day, then Ping completely cornered, felt like they had to do something, which was true because all of the neutral objectives had been taken by Mafia. Yeah, walking in towards E4s, walking in towards T57s, and we all saw how that worked out for them.
But congratulations to Mafia. They get 3 points. Ping, you know, looked competitive at points, but still have a while to go for them. But nonetheless, I mean, Mafia is showing a lot of respect here, which shows something to begin with.
Yeah, at the same time, though, I think Mafia, by showing this respect, just jumping over the traps that Ping had built, they were completely aware of the fact that Ping is a team that does like to upset. And in round number 2, they even got that one on the board. But I think Ensk, that was just so wary by Mafia that, you know, Ping in the end weren't able to surprise. I think careful is the best way to explain what Mafia did here, but for Ping that's also a problem, because if all of those top tier teams like Mafia start paying so much respect to Ping, then it will get harder for them to pick up points.
Your first upset is the easiest.
Yeah.
After that, it gets a little bit harder, Kihan, but maybe they'll be able to do it again in a different match.
Talking about different matches, we have one last one up and coming. But before that one happens, let's go over some replays to see once again how Mafia beat Ping.
This is the world's most advanced processor. In entertainment, its rendering speeds render other processors obsolete. Powers cloud services for billions. Helps change the course of climate change. And uses AI to accelerate disease detection and cures. We make the world's most advanced processors, but only with your vision can we advance the world. AMD. Together, we advance.
Hello there, and welcome back to the last match of the day. It's going to be a Ukrainian derby in between Darkside and Cashback. And before the season started, I think the roles would have been clearly distributed. However, Ducky, that is not the case.
No, Cashback is on the hunt for a better form, to be honest. They have so far struggled in this season, where they're very used to leading. They're now very much in the middle of the pack, not really excelling. And they need to find the problems that are making them struggle.
Yeah, and on the other side, we have the team of Darkside that so far, I mean, they went to tiebreakers sometimes, but they won all of their matches. That is why before the day started, they were greeting from the top of the scoreboard, have obviously been overtaken by some of the teams that won today already, but they still have the possibility with a clean victory against the team of Cashback to make it a back up and greet from the top once again. Is that going to be the case? I think it mostly depends on the team on screen right now. Which kind of Cashback are we going to see?
Real. What kind of Cashback? I think that's the name of the game here. We know that Darkside have been doing pretty well throughout the season already, again, but can this Cashback turn around their problems and make them shine again for them? You know, last season they got second, the season before they won, but both of those seasons throughout the regular season, they were very dominant.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Cashback finished both of those seasons as winner of the regular season. And that is why they were also so favored throughout the stages of the playoffs. But then in Season 2, I mean, W just with a magical day, really, upsetting everything. And I think community predictions are starting to pay respect to the previous results that we have seen coming. Before the season, I think it would have been a lot more in favor of Cashback. Now, however, basically 3 quarters Cashback, 1 quarter Darkside.
Maybe it's even a bit much for Cashback at this moment, Kian. 75%.
I think this is really the match that is going to make or break the season for Cashback. They obviously have still all the possibilities on the table for them, but Hellmind has been playing absolutely out of his mind, pun not intended. Almost 4 KD and an average damage of, well, rounded to 3.5k. But it has to be said that his team has been winning a lot, and there it's also easier to kind of get those high stats on the board. But yeah, talking about the importance of this match, Liberty, I think there is absolutely no discussion. That guy is stellar in just about every regard. It's just that his team this season hasn't really been living up to the hype, at least when it came to tactics.
Told you should have fired the manager. It's always the manager's fault. Fire the coach. Put a new one in. Maps, though. Oh, interesting. Sujanki being removed from Darkside. Murovanka by Cashback gives us Cliff as first map, even picked by Darkside.
Yeah, Darkside with a statement coming into this pick and ban saying, we are not afraid of you, Cashback. We are going to pick a map where it's going to be all about the calls. It's going to be all about team cohesion, shooting, focus fire. And Cashback then selecting Sand River. They have liked playing it so far with, let's say, varying success. But Cashback have showed that they like to not go for the light tanks, instead just force the issue with 7 combat tanks. And then if we are going to go to tiebreaker, that one would be on class. It would be on good old Himmelsdorf.
If we get that far. If we get that far. Sand River finally making its way back, Johan. You know, first everybody played it and then nobody played it.
Yeah, I think on the first day, a lot of teams were trying to kind of get the jump on the other team by selecting Sand River, the new map to the pool. And so far, at least from what we've seen, I think it's fairly easy to deduce that the meta hasn't been completely settled yet on it. The question is also, who have both teams been kind of scrimming against and on what maps? Because it's always the problem when you scrim or against how many different teams you kind of train. You don't want to show them too many strategies, but at the same time, if you don't train against a lot of teams, then you kind of have the problem that you might be falling into a feedback loop of just playing maps a certain way against only certain teams, and then when you meet on the actual play days different teams that have entirely different approach, then you might have trained the map, yeah, but not exactly how the other team is playing it. So that is going to come into effect here fully as well. And talking about predictions, all of the three of us are agreeing with the community predictions. 3-1 across the board. This time around, Moff is neither going to get ahead nor fall behind.
He already fell behind anyways.
Yeah, he's on the edge of falling off, you might say.
Well, that's okay. You know, it's fine. It's fine. He'll recover one day in the very far, far distant future. But this is a defining moment for Cashback to see how the recovery is going for them. You know, it's a team with a little bit of worries right now.
Yeah, I think they have the possibility to right a lot of things that have been going wrong for them this season. This is one of those defining moments. I mean, we are in really the middle of phase 1 right now, and if they win here and now, then it's also a statement, winning against the team that was top of the board so far. But if they lose here, then I mean, the problems are not going to get smaller.
For sure not. Round number 1 though on Cliff. Cashback against Dark Side. Cashback locked and loaded with the 60p, the 50b, the T57, the E50, the TVP, and the Gorilla.
And for Darkside, we have a double 50B, we have a CS63, Centurion Action X, E50M ×2, and, well, another CS, a Hurricane.
Yeah, the Cashback completely changed though. Double 50B, BZ, 57, E50, and a TVP, so ditching the Gorilla and a few of the other things as well. Looking more brawly now.
Looking more brawly. Still, though, the TVP on the team of Cashback, not the biggest fan of it in Onslaught. We have seen it work out before, but there it was like 4 TVPs, and the opposing team against those TVPs basically made all the mistakes you ever could. But yeah, splitwise, Darkside sending 4 towards lower, 3 towards upper, and for Cashback, they're sending 2 towards mid. That's the T57 and the BZ, sending 4 towards lower, as well as the 50Bs and E50Ms are going to meet. Kind of mirror lineups meeting here, but it is going to be Cashback sticking it, getting the first kill on towards Hellmind as well. His stats are going to suffer as Vladislav in that E50M is going to be driving in. Was that the correct decision? That is kind of the question, because he's going to be alone now. Kopiat driving in. Missed communication by Darkside.
Yeah, no, Vladislav getting rammed by Liberty in the 50B as well, realizing an opportunity there to pick up a kill. Now coming off a reload pretty soon. Aka coming in with the TVP as well, starting to clip out against Kopiat, who's now trying to back off. First he doesn't go in, and now he doesn't back off on time. He's going to be fallen in that E50M. Trash Panda coming in as well, trying to get it out, done and over. He realizes round number 1, it is Cashback who find a good initial strategy that they can never really lose from anymore, and then a little bit of miscommunication coming the way as well to make it all that sweeter for Cashback. Really good start.
Really good start for Cashback. A bit of raised eyebrows towards the side of Darkside, because that was not even not good. That was really bad communication-wise. It really looked bad. Hellmind immediately dropping in that 50B. Good fire, focus fire coming out from Cashback. This in turn means no shielding going on for Darkside. Then 150B going in by himself. Like, yeah, my man, the double 50B is reloading, but there is still 2 accompanying 50Ms that, well, that's 2v1. Like, what are you doing?
Good round for Cashback. Good start. And Darkside probably didn't imagine their first round was going to be popping off like this. But, you know, there could also be a turning moment here for Cashback, right, Kihan? It could be that, you know, they got a little bit too complacent, a little bit too, how to say, confident in their own abilities to beat anybody and everybody throughout the regular season. They came into the season probably pretty relaxed, and then ran against the wall. And this could be a moment where, you know, they realized and they're like, okay, guys, you know, we got to focus back up, and decided to take things a bit more serious.
Yeah, I mean, damage-wise, not really that much to be said. Obviously, TVP having a good game for himself, but in the end, I think Darkseid just falling apart tactic and call-wise completely. That was a disaster from start to finish for them. The only good thing that can be said is that
it was over quick.
It was kind of, yeah, it was over quickly. It was probably pretty painful to play. You could even see that, like the Hurricane Trash Panda, he was just driving in there trying to ram kill the E50M, which is not the best thing to do with the CS63 as well. But he probably recognized, like, hey, yeah, it's over. Nah, go next.
Nonetheless, Cashback find it, and you know, this could be a steamroll moment for them as well, though, because Cliff round number 2 is already closing in on us. The first one just finished. The second one is coming up right now, and they could be facing a 2-0 against Cashback. Now, I would say that if Cashback takes 2-0, I don't somehow see them throw it away.
But
stranger things have happened.
Stranger things have indeed happened. Less than 48 hours ago. So, yeah. First of all, let's find kind of the positive side here for Darkseid, and I think that is that the mistakes that were done by them were so obvious that normally a team of their caliber should have no big issues kind of adjusting and fixing, because I think the worst outcome of a round for you can be where everyone is like, yeah, no, I didn't really make any mistakes, and then they still lose. So mistakes were made, but no one is able to properly diagnose. But I think here the doctor is going to have an easy time to kind of find out what's wrong.
Let's see what we can get in terms of lineups, though, in this second round of Cliff. Cliff very diverse in the amount of tanks that are picked, though.
Yeah, I'm also very surprised to see that some teams even are bringing admittedly very slow tanks like 60 TPs. We have seen that in the past as well. But the fact of the matter remains that the 60 TP, kind of good alpha, the gun handling in Onslaught okay, and the armor super annoying to shoot at, especially when hull down or over a distance. So yeah, let's see what we are going to get for round number 2 on Cliff. Cashback looking for the match point. Meanwhile, Darkseid wanting to equalize the scoreline, because let's face it, that first round was a little too easy for Cashback, who are going to be coming in with double 50B, double BZ75, a CS63, a K91, alright, Brainbreaker, and an RHM.
Darkseid in return, double 50B, CS63 AX, double 50M, and an EBR, though.
EBR on Cliff, not unheard of, but it is kind of a weird choice sometimes, let's put it like this, because, well, the EBR doesn't have the best amount of firepower, and Cliff is just so focused on shootouts that you really want to have DPM, armor, HP, which isn't what the EBR brings to the table. Let's see how this engagement on the 1-2 line is going to go. Hellmind, the first one, in towards the bush. Dryas does get spotted. The 50B is not reloaded yet, but now they're coming in. Barbarian and Squeezy popping the shots and popping off against Dryas, who just falls.
Now they see the entire team from Darkseid cross from the top, but what does that mean, Kihan? Where do you go if you have nowhere to go? The only way is forward in towards Kopiad, who's on reload as well, and now they will lose 2 guns for this when you are Darkseid, because Kopiad, let's face it, he's dead already. I mean, ooh, big strike though, 1,200 damage, 1 BZ, second BZ. Now they turn back around, coming back in, the K91 is there as well, and Darkseid now evacuating the part of the map that they only just managed to barely take away from Cashback, back into the middle, back in towards Little and Liberty, who are going to be holding on for dear life as the rescue boats are on the way to save them. And Little might die in that CS63 because he really has nowhere to go. But Liberty on top of the hill, Kihan, seems to be in a pretty strong position. And now you can see this blob of cashback tanks moving back through the middle of the map. Scouts trying to get away in that E50M. Will not make it super far, will make it behind a building, but that is going to be his final destination, even as Brainbreaker finishes off. Yeah, will finish the kill. It took a little bit longer, but now Cashback, I mean, they've got everything, Kian.
Yeah, well, on the hill still, Darkside might win out here. Liberty is an HE one-shot, but the Cashback with this yellow blob in the middle of the map just have to trade it out well, and trade it out well is what they will try to do. Liberty does get found by Vladislav, doesn't get picked up yet. Barbarian falling in turn, but Trash Panda in between everyone. You can see Hellmind probably doesn't have a medkit available and only has the driver remaining in his vehicle as he falls. And Cashback, they roll up to Cliff and they roll over Darkside.
Carried by their initial strategy twice. I mean, just better initials, to be honest. After that, they made the right calls still, but the calls were a little bit obvious at that point. They shouldn't never fail it anymore. And as a result, man, it's 2-0 in very, very quick fashion here for Cashback against Darkside. Given it though, Cashback, good initials. Really, really good initials and never giving it back after.
Yeah, no. Both times here on Cliff, Cashback are able to immediately shut down one of the 50Bs of Darkside. And in the second round here, even getting the second one. And the problem I think that Darkside was that Cashback really didn't give any opportunity over towards Darkside to push onto something. Because normally when you're getting overrun on one part of the map, you should have enough forces committed elsewhere to gain an advantage. But the tanks on the hill, they just weren't dying by Cashback. The RHM and also the CS63, they took a long time to die. And when they finally fell, or in case of the RHM not even falling, the rest of the team was there to take it from there.
Good though from Cashback. At least the initial strats are working really well, and for them, they're very happy coming out of that. And we'll play the... Well, we'll say it, Kihan. Who picked Cliff? It was not Cashback, no?
No, it was Darkside's pick, and well, might as well have been Cashback's because they were completely unfazed, it seems, by whatever has happened in the prior stages of the season. And before the game started here of this last match of the day, we were kind of like, all right, which kind of Cashback are we going to see today? At least on Cliff, we got to see the Cashback that won Season 1 and that won the regular season of Season 2.
So that gives us Sand River. Interesting one, of course, to see. Because it's been a while since we've seen it. We saw it a lot on the first day, but then afterwards... not really anymore, but now it is going to be returning. And Cashback was pretty good on it, Kihan, at some point.
Yeah, Cashback on Sand River so far, they didn't really like playing with light tanks, although, of course, they could be doing that as well. They have Liberty in their team, who has been playing and picking up EBR a lot more, also in Random Onslaught, I think more recently. Captain's rating, no questions here, but keep in mind that was before the season started, is when we asked the captains. And there, even though like Cashback fell apart in the finals of Season 2, still 1.2 rating, that basically means everyone predicted for them to be in first place.
Yeah, basically. Except for like a few teams, but
maybe they themselves were like humble and said like, oh, you know, someone else is going to take it. But looking at Phil, who is shaking his head here in the office currently, nah, it seems like Cashback predicted for themselves to win this one.
In their case, I understand.
Yeah.
In some other cases, I understand less.
I mean, if Lotus put themselves on one, there is obviously no space for Cashback to be there, you know.
Exactly, Kihan, exactly. So, it depends a little bit, you know. But I think that was fair that even they themselves put themselves on first, because they have just been so good in the regular season for 2 seasons that it's like you expect them to do the magic.
For now, it is some magic that we will need to see from Darkside, who haven't really shown up in this match so far. Cashback, though, coming in with double BZ, 1 IS-7, a double MBY, a CS-63, and a Centurion.
Darkside, on the other hand, 4 Mivis, an AX, an SCRV, and an RHM. Yeah, this trend of Cashback to not play lights anymore, Kian.
At least not on Sand River, absolutely. There was at some point double Centurion for the team of Darkside, but they switched for another Mivi. Double Inspire Medium can also work when you basically get that Perma Inspire completely rolling. That can be kind of crazy, but it also sometimes is a bit overkill. As Cashback, we have kind of seen something like this from them in the past as well. But now Darkside, the first team to fully commit to the southern side of the map from east. And we all know that the dunes are shaped better for the eastern side. This is maybe why they are taking this. Trash Panda spotting it out completely. And now Dries is the first one to commit in. He might be going on towards the strike. But as of right now, Darkside not really putting... Cashback not really putting any kind of pressure elsewhere on the map. They're kind of considering sending the IS-7 that they have ISET in towards the strike in the middle. But yeah, Dries, no issues at all, is going to pick up the strike for himself here. And might even put it, because that is a lot of tanks spotted there in the southwestern part of the map. Cashback does opt to hold on to it for now. And currently the push kind of unspotted. Dries with a Sixth Sense, now the tanks get spotted out, and Twilight and Barbarian are going to team up immediately. Down to 1.5k goes Dries, and that is not the end of it.
The Ram coming in as well, dropping him towards the one-shot. He does pop his heal, but he gets picked up by Aka from the back, and now they've got to start continuing this pressure. The SRV is on the run. They obviously do not see that right now, but they do have double Mivis close that need to be pushed as well. Kano is sitting there now in the SRV, popping the ability, starting to shoot away, but you can see in return that Kopia now starting to get peeked by Twilight, and Barbarian is starting to hurt a little bit, and Kano going in and out of spot, backing off in the meantime. But look at it, Darkside starting to do pretty good damage from those back lines with that AX, with Trash Panda as well, and that RHM ISET trying to block off that AX, and he does find Trash Panda in a pretty bad position there for the RHM, who loses his gunner as well, and the RHM has very shared roles on that. If Liberty shooting HE, he can two-shot him, and he's doing just that. Liberty, Little actually on the hunt, the bolt with the L, but no L for him, a W, as they do find that very crucial pickup against that light tank.
Yeah, and this is putting a lot more pressure on towards the tanks that Darkside now have on the southern part of the map. They need to start picking up guns against Cashback, who are still playing with 7 currently. They're doing a good job of bleeding those superior tank numbers here. Twilight going down towards 1000 is going to heal up a little bit, is going to give a little bit of HP to Barbarian as well, but Little coming in with an absolutely clutch shot once again from the middle of the map is going to shut down one of those MVYs. 4 against 7. Darkside really against the ropes. They need to get kills, but it seems like they cannot.
No, Cashback also resetting into more defensive locations now, wanting them to overpeak. They control the middle of the map, they control the K-line as well. Kano getting spotted out, takes a shot of damage in that STRV. Liberty dropped towards a one-shot though, and now Scout trying to get something, but HP is dead even between these two. But the guns is so important. There's an AX of Hellmine trying to find Little. He will find it as well in that Centurion, but he might take some damage for this, and now he's a bit unaware of what he's supposed to do. To come back in, Little should still not win this, however. I don't think so. Hellmine picks it up, but that was costly.
That was indeed very costly, but finally one of those crossfire positions of Darkside is gone. Hellmind is going to drive in towards the strike. I don't think Squeezy will be able to come back in and reset Hellmind, who is on one shot here right now. Twilight and Barbarian pretty low. A strike would do wonders, but I said from downtown, from the back lines with the IS-7, able to pick it up. 3 tanks only remaining for Darkside. The STRV of Kano getting pushed by the IS-7 of Iset as well. Both of them one-shots for each other. Kano now spotted out as well, trying to somehow keep his gun in the game, but Twilight X marks the spot, is going to boost in. His shot connects into Scout, and he is going to heal up, and the last tank of Darkside falls. It is going to be a very clean 3-0 for Cashback, and you can see they are so low on so many tanks, but they were crucially able to keep them in the game.
Yeah, good stuff though from Cashback. They win out this match 3-0. Confidence booster for them as well. Clapping back a little bit at all the haters being like, yeah, but don't worry guys, we still got it. Good stuff from them.
Yeah, really good stuff. I think all of this, like, it is always a bit hard to like blame individual players, but really I think Trash Panda with the RHM, if he doesn't take so much damage in the round, if he doesn't die against the CS, by taking so much damage, he opened himself up towards getting pushed by the CS, and that really was the undoing of
if he doesn't die,
of Darkside.
It takes the whole map away from them.
Yeah.
It's a really, really crucial kill there. Because the CS of Little then took the middle and was able to shoot the Mivis in the side as well. Because he's so elevated compared to them. He was able to give side shots on them. And I think we can see that in the damage department even. Yeah, Little has 5k.
Yep. I mean, 500 of that due to roll skills as well. But losing the middle of the map for Darkside was, I think, what broke them, because they're relying essentially on the STRV to do a lot of damage passively, because they want the MVYs to get peaked. But if the damage on the MVYs can be done for free with the CS, who ended up even killing 1 or 2 of them, then all of a sudden the tactic ends up falling apart, and they were clinging on. They were really fighting hard on that southern side, but I think Cashback, as soon as they recognized the mistake that was made by the RHM, then it slipped out of the hands of Darkside. So yeah, Cashback had a weird 3 playdays during the start of the season, but here on playday 4, they kind of, stepped back into it a little bit. As I said, this was the 4th playday, only the 3rd stream day of the season, though, on this Thursday, the 24th of April 2025, in the AMD Ols S Season 3. The next playdays are, and I say playdays on purpose, are going to be on Sunday. We are going to go back live there at 16 CST, that is 1400 UTC, and it's once again going to be a Super Sunday. It's going to be 8 matches in total. And maybe then, during his first time on the stream this season, Moth will have a better time with his predictions. On the weekend, you will be able to claim 5 drops as well.
There's still a lot of action coming. Kihan mentioned it in the beginning of the stream. This is the midway point. This is the updated price pool above 46k. Very good to see. Those bundles are still available. And Phil gave me the ultimate rundown of what's happening when, of course, with these bundles for the prediction. And I think, what was it again? Let me see. The bundles are available from the 7th, and 8th will be removed directly after phase 1 is over. And then the bundles will be up till the start of phase 2. 13th, he said.
Here you can see those bundles, by the way. Obviously, the Ols supporter base and advanced are going to be available until the end of the season, if you want to still pick up some of those then. But for now, if I were you, I'd be going with the team bundles, of course. Personally, so far, I've purchased 1. It was the Cashback one, but I think I'll maybe go with another, like 2, maybe even 3, because
if you're at 3 Keyhand, you're already past the halfway point, so you may as well buy 5.
You mean just completely whale it?
Exactly.
The only part of World of Tanks that is pay to win, the Ols prediction game. But yeah, I think the thing we've all been waiting for is going to come up now. It is the table of standings, and we have a new leader. W is greeting from the top. They have a total of 9 points, but it is a kind of shared first place with Mafia and Hit, who also have 9, each of them. Cashback, only 1 behind with 8. Then Darkside, only 1 behind that one with 7.
But they went from
and
first
then,
to 5th.
Yeah, then we have kind of a gap emerging. Ping with 3, Lotus with 2, Yogurt with 1. So in between those 3 teams, I think we'll have some pretty interesting stuff going on towards the end of the season as well. Because remember, like after phase 1, there will be 2 teams eliminated. And after phase 2, another 2 will be eliminated. And then if you're in place 1, you get a better seed in the finals, of course. And production coming in clutch. Also, Ping on Sunday is going to play against both Lotus and Yogurt, so some points are definitely going to get distributed in between both of those teams. But yeah, even if the teams make it to the final stage and greet from the top, we saw last season that, you know, from 4th place, there can be Cinderella story.
Exactly, W did it. So why would another team not be able to do it? But so far, it's good to see Kihan this season is unpredictable about who's going to end the league at place number 1, which is good because it keeps things interesting as well.
Indeed, interesting very much. We hope that you enjoyed today's Playday, and also we hope that you'll join us on a Sunday, because there's going to be a lot more Onslaught action coming then. Until then, we are going to go raid this beautiful man on his channel after the replays, where if you haven't been able to claim all of the drops so far, with 150 minutes of drops, actually, only the first people should just about now be getting them.
There's plenty of time.
So, yeah, never worried. We were still able to cover the whole time, but yeah, nevertheless, you'll be able to claim it on Ducky's channel. With that all said and done, thank you very much to y'all for watching. We'll see you next time.